The fifth round of Wednesday Night Motorsport for Term 4 of 2025 of the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. And we start with a trip to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. And we start with the third sprint round of the season for the TransAm series presented by merch.GSRC.in. And then we head on to home turf, the Sandown Motor Raceway in Victoria, where I'm reliably informed it's good weather for ducks down there this evening, and the latest round of the Trophi.AI Supercar series. Good evening, everybody. Nice to have you along for the ride. Welcome to Wednesday Night Motorsport across Facebook and YouTube, the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. What an epic night this promises to be. There's the circuit weather conditions for you. 1 o'clock in the afternoon for this first race. It's a sprint round tonight, 11 km/h winds. What are we looking at? A southeasterly direction, 19 degrees. The ambient, 26 on track, dry conditions, 0% rain at the moment and clear. First and foremost, first bit of housekeeping for you. No, I'm not Dan Yeaman. I'm a lot louder than that. Zach Caven in the house deputising for him tonight. I'm back to being what I used to be at 2MCE and West Bromwell Radio, Plan B. He's out enjoying some family time tonight. We hope he enjoys that. We'll hear him back here alongside the great man Matt Schmidtke next week, and Schmitty's still here alongside me this evening. Looking forward to this, Schmitty. TransAm's, flavour of the month at the moment. We're loving our TransAm racing in the real world. Great to see that we've been able to adapt it in some form here on the platforms of the GSRC as well.
Yep, certainly. It's been some good racing here as well as in real life, and let's see how they go here. Should be a good race.
Championship points coming into this round. It's just 17 points. Angus Cook on top of the table at the moment. I'm just having a look on the grid though this evening. No Angus Cook. This will be a drop round for Cookie. Darren Lobb, 164, 138 for Jackson Rayhana. Adam Funslow on 127 and Adam Lavis, 126. Christopher Henn on 125. Chris Noble, 111, 108 for Andrew Dyson. Is just about cleaning up in everything he puts his mind to at the moment. Lachlan Capel, 96, and Lane Thoburn and Richard Brookfield sharing 10th on 92 points. Grid for the opening race. Andrew Dyson picking up where he left off on Monday night. Pole position, ladies and gentlemen. Trent Lavis is back on the platforms of the GSRC. He's alongside him on the front row. Darren Lobb, Jackson Rayhana, second row. Brett Barker, Dylan Walker, third row. Adam Lavis, Moz Moroz, fourth row. Chris Henn, Joe Baldwin, row 5. Guy Leach and Richard Brookfield from 6. Adam Funslow and Ryan Jones from 7. In the reverse order, I was looking at SDK timing. I did the Anchorman thing. Ryan Jones, Adam Funslow, 7. Dale Sharp, Michael Brennan, 8. Siobhan McKernan, David Baz, 9. John Baldwin, Aaron Bryan, 10. We go back. Wayne Losh, Greg Colgan, Sam Lehman, Aidan Cale, and Wade Sheedy make up the field, although Cale has not joined the starting grid here. Maybe you'll start from pit lane. Maybe you'll avoid all the carnage from the outset. Chris Whitaker getting the shots in early, whilst Trent Lavis is not able to defend himself. They will need to go door-to-door racing tonight. We know what it's like when we go racing around here at the best of times, least of all in sprint mode. And these big muscle cars, ladies and gentlemen, if you want horsepower, you've come to the right place tonight. 2 races for the Trans-Ams and 1 for the Supercars, 60 minutes ahead from Sandown, the home of horsepower in this country. Let's go! Wednesday Night Motorsport underway. Night 3 of week 5 of term 4. Beautiful start from Dyson. Lobb got the jump on Lavis as well. Lobb to the inside, goes by Lavis. One out in the weeds. That was Adam Funslow. And that's actually the best of both worlds at the moment. It's no fun out there, and it's going to slow him down. Through turn 4 for the first time. That long, sweeping right-hander. Up the hill. One of the great things about this circuit, fast, flowing, challenging, undulating. Along with a couple of tight and technical corners that will make or break your night. Back straight, Dyson leads. First sighting for me of Darren Lobb. Great to see that we've now got South African presence on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. And on that subject tonight, huge night of sport for you, ladies and gentlemen. I have got bad news out of Canberra, where the Australian-Indian T20 match has been hit by a rain delay. India currently 1 for 43 after 5 overs, 15 to go there. And the first semi-final of the Women's Cricket World Cup is scheduled for tonight. England against South Africa from 8:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So we'll stay across that. The Aussie women, of course, in action tomorrow night we'll have live updates during our coverage of GT4 and Porsche Cup racing for you as well. Across the start line, Dyson, Lobb, Lavis, the top 3, Rayhana, Walker, Barker, the top 6. After one lap, 1:26.567. So they're not the fastest cars in the world compared to some of the other machinery we bring to this venue. But I guess that's the problem, isn't it, Matt Schmidtke? They are big, they are heavy, they are clunky as well, because the one thing about these cars that probably is their Achilles heel, take a lot to pull up. Their brakes aren't the strongest.
Yep, certainly. From what I've heard from the drivers, they're not too bad to drive, except for that aspect. Their brakes are not great. They don't have a lot of horsepower either. 400 to 500 from, according to iRacing, they don't list a specific number, so we're not exactly sure, but it's not a real large amount, and yeah, just some good racing to be had with them.
See, some people do like that. Hello, Super Mika. I can't read the rest of the name there because it's chopped off by the time, which is Australian Central Daylight Time for those of you tuning in at home, because the broadcast is being produced from the City of Churches, from Matt Schmidtke's end tonight. So the times will be a little bit off-putting because they're half an hour out compared to Eastern Daylight Time, which is what we advertise for the broadcast. Across the line we go. Good move on the inside. That was good and forceful racing. Dylan Walker side by side. Brett Barker, Jackson Rayhana. Rayhana's been relegated. Walker's gone through. Nicely done. Walker's a little bit wide. Going through too. Rayhana's going to get him back and feed him a little bit of grass. It's forceful. Between these two, they've been well acquainted in the last week or so. Spent a bit of time in one another's company in the Indy NXT race last Friday night. They're picked up where they left off here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. 3.5 minutes gone. We're on lap 3, 1:23.16. So let's see, will 1:20 work perfectly there if I do the mathematics that way? 1:20 and 2 is 2:43 is 4. 3 times 4 is 12, so, and 4 times 4 is 16, so it's only a 15-minute race, this one, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're on for about 11 laps here. Don't think we'll get 12. 11 looks to be where the bingo number is landing at this point in time. Again, mathematics not the strong point, but my best guess is 11 laps out of 15 minutes. So across the line we go. Dyson, Lobb, Lavis, Rayhana. Dyson the fastest start of the race. Tickle me surprised. 1:23.043 that time through. Darren Lobb, great run from him so far, but he's under pressure from Trent Lavis. Lavis is keeping him honest. Of course, that positional change occurred on the opening lap. And Lavis will try and get him back on the inside at turn 3. Yep, got him. Covered it off beautifully. Well done, Trent Lavis. Job done on the inside. And all the work for Darren Lobb to do once more. So what we've got now, ladies and gentlemen, is the top 4 back to exactly where they started. Setting up for the run down the back straight. Can Lobb get the run down the back straight? Very different to our open wheel racing, our Toyota 86 racing that we bring to this venue, whereby you will see a lot of side-by-side slipstream draft, overtaking, play out. You can hang tough around the outside down at this particular corner at the end of the back straight through that right-hander. In some cars, not all of them. Lobb obviously illustrating that this car might not necessarily be the best to hang tough around the outside. And so different cars, different racecraft, different dynamic. And Trent Lavis forceful to get the job done, to get the move, to go up in the second. And it's paying dividends at the moment. Rayhana wide off the exit of 1. Got across to cover off. Dylan Walker, Brett Barker, Moz Moroz, Adam Lavis, Joe Baldwin and Chris Head. The top 10 in Canada. Oh, Canada. Actually, it's funny, isn't it, right? Let me backtrack. So top four are in a battle for second here because Rayhana and Walker have caught Lob and Lavis. And that's exciting. It's allowed Dyson to skip clear. He's a second and a half up the road. Forget about him. He's gone. Invert pole for the second race currently being held by Chris Henn, but not comfortably because he's got Richard Brookfield, Ryan Jones and Guy Leach hovering all over him like a cheap suit. But I just tricked myself there because every time I go to New South Wales, we refer to Victoria as Mexico, right? South of the border down Mexico way. So in that similar context, why don't New South Wales people refer to Queensland as Canadian? Probably because Canada observes daylight saving. I'm sorry I went down that path so early in the broadcast, but you know, if you're going to make the reference, you got to make it stick at both ends, north and south. Canadians up here in Queensland, Mexicans down there in Victoria, US in the middle. Although I'm not sure any of us would be happy with those comparisons at the moment. Oh, Rayhana's in the wall. That's a big one. Dylan Walker and Jackson Rayhana. Wowee! Rayhana's on his lead. Race done. A monumental shunt. Mosmoroz also compromised by all of that. Brookfield's gone up into ninth and Ryan Jones to the invert pole for the moment. Now, what on earth has gone on here? Moroz is limping away from the scene of the crime. He had no involvement in it. He was an innocent bystander after the fact. Look at this. Did Rayhana lose it on the exit, or did he get some help? He got the curb, and he got the curb, and then he got a touch. Then he got a touch. And poor old Moroz, bang, nowhere to go. Up and over goes Jackson Rayhana. Wild ride for the 57 and Summit Sim Sport. Holy smoke. 8 minutes gone, half race distance. And we've had our first big one. Now, in real world parlance, that would be a safety car. Here, it's fair game play on, every man for himself. Michael Brennan out there for Summit Sim Sport as well. The best place to the Summit Sim Sport entries now in the absence of Angus Cook and obviously Rayhana being on the tow rope. I love that Guy Leach is running the Kyle Busch livery. Going back a few years. But Roz has dropped to 17th in all of that. Will be limping home to make up the minor placings, I think, after all that. Rayhana on the tow rope will be for a while, but will need to get back out there to tick the box and score some points, and then watch his charge through from 25th in the next race. Because, as we've already seen here, Matt Schmidtke, overtaking's not the easiest thing.
No, it is not, and these cars, from what I've been informed, the draft model isn't the best. So here, the best place to overtake usually is to into Leach.
Oh, trouble! Leach, Jones, both out of contention for the invert pole. Dale Sharp moves up into 10th as a result of that. Ryan Jones and Guy Leach out of business. They'll recover. They'll get back on the black stuff. But any hope of a top 10 finish here has gone by the wayside very quickly. My goodness, Moroz has got back out there in 7-8, still damaged, still limping around, still dropping. Greg Colgan up to 7-8, Wayne Losh to 16th, John Baldwin to 15th. Rayhana remains on the tow rope, has been for 2.25 minutes now. Dyson, the leader, 2 seconds to Lavis. Lavis running the Aussie Races, Lobesy Racing livery. However, I couldn't help but notice the similarities in the predominantly white and red of DPR Racing in that livery. It's very rare that you don't see him decked out in that traditional livery of Aussie Racers, or of course his own Lobesy Racing green, like that, of Adam Lavis right there. Why didn't he just take his brother's livery and just chuck a different number on it? Dale Sharp down into 13th now, so Sharpie's been relegated at the expense of Michael Brennan, Adam Funslow and David Baz as well. Rayhana with a biggie. Well, it'll be interesting to get his thoughts on that at the end. I don't think he'll be too happy. I don't think he'll be exchanging Christmas cards with Dylan Walker anytime soon. And it'll be interesting to see what race control has to say about that one too, ladies and gentlemen. We probably actually, Schmitty, need to have a look at the onboard from Dylan Walker just to get his take on that as well, if you don't mind, if you're able to find that. I know the incident alert screen has been lighting up like a Christmas tree in recent... Oh, sorry. like a festive season treat. It's too early to be using any other word. But Dylan Walker, there it is. Watch this, watch this. Now, Rayhana was a little bit unsettled, but yeah, he could have saved it. Dylan Walker's just finished him off. Hello, sir. How are you? See you later. Quickest conversation you've ever seen. Didn't even ask for permission. Just went for it. My goodness. 11 3/4 minutes gone. Dyson leads by 2.3 to Trent Lavis. Darren Lobb is third. Dylan Walker, Brett Barker, the top five, and Adam Lavis is sixth. Match delayed by rain in Canberra, India, Australia. More on that shortly, once we have word on when things are going to get back underway in the nation's capital. First of 5 matches in that series, of course. Merch.GSRC.inc. Mountain Dew on the back of Trent Lavis's TransAm at the moment, getting to hurry along from the Lego entry of Darren Lobb, the South African, to the outside. Now we're going to see them get the elbows out and go door-to-door racing. This is what Chris Whitaker was signing up to watch. Lavis withstands the pressure for the moment and answers the challenge.
I think Walker's blown his engine.
Dylan Walker's blown his engine. Yeah, you're right. Dylan Walker's done. Dylan Walker's blown the engine. So there's another contender out of business. And the chips continue to fall. Wowee. Walker's engine's blown up. I saw the smoke as well, Schmitty, but I was like, hang on. I hope I'm not seeing things. And I wasn't. Unfortunately for Dylan Walker, he's done as well. So him and Rayhana will be charging through from the back of the field. And you can guarantee there's going to be some fireworks attached to that. Moz Moroz also on pit lane at the moment. Dylan Walker on pit road. The engine's done. Now, that's not a fast repair fix, is it, Matt?
No, I think it will be.
Okay.
Let's see what... He is sitting there, though.
Yeah, 30 seconds already.
I think fast repair is effectively brand new car, except for your tyres.
Yeah. So white flag in the air next time around, mate. Keep going.
Yep. Yeah, well, new tyres to the point whereas if you lose one in the middle of the track, they go and fetch it for you and put it back on the car.
He's out, by the way, 43.67. So he is back out there, but he is now 22nd. Rayhana, 23rd. Moz Moroz sitting on pit lane, 24th. Now, if things stay as they are, I think Moz is okay. Moz has completed 8 laps of 11. I just want to confirm that I'm right with my estimates there. Across the line we go, white flag in the air, last lap one more time, around 1 minute left on the clock. So again, the calculations were spot on, but I promise you maths was never my strong point, or never supposed to be anyway. Let's not let the truth get in the way of a good story. 11 minus 25%, 8.25. Oh no, so Moz is actually going to have to get back out there. Moz is actually going to have to get back out there and get another lap in if he wants to be classified. Otherwise, it's going to be a not classified because he's only completed 8 of the... Oh, actually, no, it's now showing. My apologies. It's now showing as though he's completed 9 laps. So that'll be the tow job done, and he's now showing as having completed 9 laps. So he will actually now be okay. It was showing as 8, but it's now showing as 9. And he's got a black flag to go with it as well. So that just adds insult to injury. Final lap. Dyson leads it. Not going to be caught. 3.6 to the good. Here comes Trent Lavis. Here comes Darren Lobb. Can Lavis score himself a podium finish here and secure the silver medal? Let's wait and see. Dyson's heading to the last corner. Dyson's heading to the checkered flag. Lavis is on the absolute limit here. Dyson gets another win in merch.tgsrci.com TransAm. Lavis holds off Lobb. Spectacular. Lobb already a race winner this season. Back-to-back second place finishes, back-to-back podium finishes for him. Back-to-back first place finishes for Andrew Dyson, and Trent Lavis, the typical arrive and drive operator that he is. I'm just having a look down through my leaderboard here. I'm not sure we've seen T. Lavis already this term in this series. So typical Trent just arrives and performs, and does so in spectacular fashion to get the job done. Just having a look down through, they've, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, there were 65 drivers that have already, to this point of the series, had a crack through the first 4 rounds. Lavis makes it 66. And he's got a second place finish straight out of the gate. Very nicely done. That was fun. And the good thing about it, Matt, we get to saddle up and do it again.
We certainly do. Some good racing all around. There wasn't really that many incidents, so they did very well. There was a couple big ones, but...
I was going to say, yeah. I was going to say anything else that might have occurred on the racetrack was tame in comparison to Jackson Rayhana ending up on his lid. So everyone will be classified. Let's have a look at those results if you don't mind, please, mate. Daiso with a second consecutive win in this series, having won the feature last week in California at the Sonoma circuit. The week before, I'm just having a look through the other winners so far this season. Lockie Capel won the opening round. We had the first sprint round the week after, and Capel again did that. So we've got a trend going here. First and second race of the season won by Lachlan Capel. Then we had a win for Jackson Rayhana. Last week we had, I'm just having a look, obviously the win for Dyson. The week in between, Darren Lobb won the feature, and the opening race of the night was won by John Merritt. So typical Merritt arrives and performs just like Trent Lavis. And now we've had, obviously, Andrew Dyson go back-to-back in the same way that Lockie Capel did back in round 1 and round 2. And for Merritt, I mean, he had a 24th of DNF, a first in the DNS. So, I mean, of all the credible results for John Merritt, trusty, reliable old hot lap is middle step of the podium for that particular one. We do it with thanks to Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, Trophi.AI, Pantech Industries, merch.tgsrci.com, Sprite Insider, and Flash Graphics for you, ladies and gentlemen. Going around the grounds, no news from the nation's capital. We are off for rain at the moment. The Indians won for 43, having been sent into the bat by Mitchell Marsh, who won the toss. He's won all tosses in the 4 games they've played so far, believe it or not. About the only thing he's winning right now is Mitchell Marsh. But of course, that could well be a Duckworth-Lewis scenario, that match, if they do get back on there in the nation's capital. I'll have a look at the radar, but to do that, I'll have to go to the old Bureau website because the new one's just a waste of time and infrastructure. Then, of course, the England-South Africa World Cup Women's semi-final will be getting underway at 8:30 tonight as well. I'm glad that some people like our Around the Grounds updates. Not everybody's a fan of that. We found that out during State of Origin earlier in the year. Don't care. It's standard procedure that if I'm in the booth and there's a sporting event on, we update it for you, ladies and gentlemen, because we understand that everybody's busy. Everybody leads rather hectic lives and schedules these days. If there's a sporting event on and we've got to try and juggle and get your attention and, multitask, if you like, to give everybody the information, that's exactly what we're going to do, because there's not enough time in the day to go back and then watch all the replays and catch up. Yes, highlights, but it's not the same, is it? 4 o'clock in the afternoon as we turn our attention to the feature here in Canada. The 8th race of the campaign, the 3rd of the sprint rounds. The series ahead goes to the Detroit Grand Prix at Belle Isle Street Circuit in Michigan next week for sprint racing yet again. Then a single 45-minute race at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada, sprint racing from Sandown. Then on to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City for a 45-minute race, then on to Phillip Island for the final round of the championship. So some big tracks ahead for this series. Adam Funslow in amongst all the carnage. He prevailed with the 10th place finish in that opening race, so he gets the invert pole. Michael Brennan, Richard Brookfield, Chris Henn, Joe Baldwin, Adam Lavis, Brett Barker, Darren Lobb, Trent Lavis, and Andrew Dyson, the top 10. David Basdale Sharp from 6, Siobhan McKernan and John Baldwin from 7, Wayne Losh, Leach from 8, Ryan Jones and Greg Colgan from 9, Wade Sheedy and Sam Lehman from 10. From 11, it's Aaron Bryan and Dylan Walker, Jackson Rayhana and Moz Moroz make up the field. And this is going to be hugely exciting now, because we'll get to see whether or not Rayhana and Walker can factor into the mix and work their way through the field. So it is, as we set the scene here, folks, a 25-minute feature race at the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, the 8th race of the campaign, the race that gets us to the halfway mark of the season. And Adam Funslow converts nicely off the line to lead the field to turn one. Michael Brennan follows him through. Front row unchanged, top 6 unchanged. Darren Lobb got the better of Brett Barker off the jump. No other changes inside the top 15 at the moment. And now the fun begins, Match Vicky, as these guys try to sort themselves out. Not only that, the guys that started in that invert situation, they now have to formulate a plan of attack as to how they go about working their way back towards the front where they were at the end of the previous race. Like the Dylan Walkers, like the Jackson Ray Harners, they've got more ground to obviously recover from outside the top 10, but those inside the top 10, it's still going to be oh, trouble. Is that Adam Lavis? 2 wheels in the dirt, I think it was. No, it's Dylan Walker. So his charge has already begun, and it's been a wild ride for him to get things going as they make their way onto the back straight. So got to formulate a plan of attack here, Matt Schmidt. You've got to go about it in a way that's clean and concise and constructive. You don't want to trip up early. We've got 25 minutes here, and we've already seen how difficult it is for overtaking. So if you're someone like Darren Lobb, Trent Lavis, Andrew Dyson, they're all up +1 already. They know the importance of damage control here and making ends meet very early in the piece, because you don't want to let this field spread out.
No, certainly do not. And like you said, overtaking seems to be pretty difficult. I'll get back to my point I started in the previous race that we never got to. The draft on these things isn't super strong, and this track, the best way to overtake is just to get a good run on your opponent out of the double right-hander at the end of the field and drive past him down the big back straight. But that's just not really going to happen with these cars with not much of a draft model.
Tell me, throughout the course of this season so far, the 2 previous sprint rounds, is this just a straight-out sprint, or will there be a splash and dash? Now, I know it's not a compulsory one as per our series or club regulations this term, mate, but will we see pit activity here?
Yep, I'm pretty sure we will.
Okay, copy that. Down the back straight for the first time, Michael Brennan's holding on to second spot at the moment. Richard Brookfield and Chris Henn third and fourth. Joe Baldwin sitting there nicely in fifth. Good to see him out there in the Trans Am. We know how much he loves these things. And we've had a real NASCAR flavour to our Wednesday nights throughout the course of 2025. Nice that we can maintain that, albeit with a slight deviation. We've still got the same grunt and muscle, but it's and the look of the car as well gives off a NASCAR sort of body vibe. But yeah, it is a sidestep because there's no ovals featuring on this calendar this term, folks. Ray Harner's gone and Leach as well. Oh dear. When it rains, it pours. Guy Leach on the tow rope to pit lane. Ray Harner's night done. That charge back through the field grinds to a halt. Oh no. So this time Ray Harner gets into the back of Leach. Now, I'm interested as well here, Matt Schmidt, because I'm thinking that Ray Harner might have been caught out by Leach getting on the anchors a little bit early. It looked as though Leach got onto the anchors early. Let's have a look at this down the inside. He was in the middle of trying to make a move and then goes, yeah, I think Leach has got on the anchors.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because we've got no brake lights, but that may very well be what happened.
And that'll be unlucky for both of those guys. That's not the way you want to see it end. But again, highlighting where we are, right, we're 3 laps into this thing now, and Lobb, Lavis and Dyson haven't been able to go any further than 7th. So Lobb is 7th, Lavis is 8th, Dyson is 9th. They're all up +1. The top 6 remain unchanged from where they started. It'll be interesting to see how this goes. But again, further highlighting just how hard it is to make ground, make inroads in this race. Do they need to deviate on the strategic front to try and make their ground that way? It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. And again, on the same notion of maths not being the strong point, what did we say earlier? We got to 11 laps in the first race. We're probably looking at somewhere around that 18 or 19 number for this second race. Remembering that you've got to include, a couple of things here. You've got to carry over the time of the pit lane transit. That's number one. And then you've got to remember that 7 times a minute 23. Well, again, you're taking 7 seconds off a minute 30, aren't you? So that's... Oh, good. I'm testing myself now, Matt Schmidt. 7 by a minute 30 would be 10 minutes 30. So take 70 off that, 9 minutes 20. So there's your leverage, right? If we go the same distance in, well, won't be necessarily the same amount of time, but we'll go 11 laps in about 15 and a half minutes. We'll probably get another 7. I'm not sure if we'll get 8 because it'll depend on the pit lane transit. It'll depend on the pit lane transit time. If that is sufficient enough and efficient enough that we've still got time on the clock, then we'll get an 8th lap. So it's going to be 18 or 19 laps this one, folks. It will be a lot of fun. Let's just say that much. Adam Funslow, Michael Brennan, Richard Brookfield, Chris Henn, Joe Baldwin, the top 5. Hopefully I've made sense of that for you mathematically, folks. Again, not my strong point, but I do try. Darren Lobb up into 7th. Andrew Dyson has got by Trent Lavis. That's the only change, lap on lap. Lavis is back to 9th, back to where he started. Now, at what point do you think about zigging when the others zag? And in comes Moz Moroz on that note. He's going now. He's pulled the trigger already at the end of 7 minutes. Funslow, the leader, Brookfield, had a look down there on the inside. It's ILEC Motorsport. That's ILEC, ILEC. 1, 3, and 4 at the moment, and he's going to try and make it second. Richard Brookfield down on the inside of Michael Brennan, bringing and hanging tough around the outside. Brennan's still there. Brookfield's got his nose in front. Brennan's back down on the inside. Brookfield's being assisted by his teammate Hand, that they both lose out in the end. Wowee. Good exchange that. Adam Lavis off the road now. That elevates Lobb and Dyson up 2 and 3 spots. Lavis now back up 1. Adam Lavis out of business, drops 10 spots with an incident that will be on replay for you now. Courtesy of Disruptive Labs. Here it is. Oh, that usual trip up point. But he got some help as well. He got some help. Was that Darren Lobb? I think it was.
Yes, I believe so. It looks like him in the old Lego car.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Those front 4 were pulling quite a lead, but that little exchange the 2 rear eyelet cars and Brennan had has brought Joe and Co back into it.
Indeed it has. Good news from down there in Canberra. The T20 between Australia and India is going to resume at 8:30 p.m. We have no more news. That's 8:30 Eastern, of course, 14 minutes from now. We have no other news apart from that, whether it's going to be shortened by a few overs because of the length of the delay or whatever else. But yes, 8:30 Eastern, the resumption of play in Canberra. Brookfield still hovering on the tail of Michael Brennan at the moment. Still hovering, still lurking, still pestering, pressuring. Guy Leach there in the 23rd position, down 7 spots, did park up after that incident with Jackson Rayhana. He didn't get the fast repair and get back out there. He just fast escaped, raged, quit, and off he goes. So no more Guy Leach. Ryan Jones didn't even start the race, by the way, folks, after that late race 1 incident. So Jonesy done as well. We are down to 22 cars on circuit right now. Funslow the leader, Brennan second, Brookfield third, Hand fourth, Baldwin fifth, Andrew Dyson, Darren Lobb, Trent Lavis, Brett Barker. The closer they remain, Matt Schmidtke, well, the task hasn't been easy for Dylan Walker or Jackson Rayhana. Walker's up 10 spots. Rayhana's only up a handful. But that's more because of Ray Harner's incident with Brett Barker. With Guy Leach, of course. So Ray Harner's only up 8 spots to this point. And the other thing as well, the longer we stay bunched up like this, the more onus is going to be placed on the pit lane transit and trying to back a winner in there, trying to make some ground and one-up your opponents on pit road. Easier said than done, but as we hit the back straight on lap number 8, it's looking more and more like a game for pit lane, although Andrew Dyson does have something to say about that. Down the inside, Joe Baldwin will let him go. Baldwin won't force the issue, you wouldn't think. He knows that Dyson's just a cut above in most categories at the moment. Baldwin's on the wrong side of the road, but hangs tough. He needs to be careful, though. Dyson gave him a little love tap on the way through just to make sure that he was going to be able to complete the overtake. That's fair game. Baldwin quickly got across to cover off Lob, and Dyson's through to 5th. Lavis to pit lane. Dyson off the road! Sliding through the final corner, but retains 5th spot in the process. Lavis to pit lane. The first of the leaders to pull the trigger. Funslow, Brennan, Brookfield, Hannon, Dyson, the top 5. Dyson up 5 so far. Dylan Walker up 12. Wade Sheedy up 7. Jackson Ray Harner up 9 to this point. Lavis just the 4th driver to stop, the 3rd of whom is still actually actively in the race, noting the retirement of Guy Leach. But, yeah, as I said, Matt, the longer they stay bunched up, although I'm getting a little bit worried about that gap that's forming between 4th and 5th. It's now 2.3 seconds. If Dyson can try and reel that in, fair game. But so much importance being placed on these pit stops right now, based on the fact that the top 8 remains split by just 3.7 seconds.
Yep, that is very close pack. We'll have to see what Trent can do now that he's out in clear air, though he's only a bit over 1 second behind the next car, so he won't have clear air for too long.
We certainly will not. Funslow, Brennan, Brookfield, Hen, Dyson, Baldwin to pit lane, so too Barker. And Lob back up into 6th spot on that note, onto Dyson's tail once more. Dyson's caught Hen. Dyson's that 5th car in shot. He's just gone through. It's only 3 or 4 car lengths now. Dyson's now almost within half a second of the top 4. Dyson has caught the top 4. Dyson's now firmly in the mix here. Good play. Got clear air and carried on with it. Continued to punch out qualifying numbers. 23.255, his best lap so far. A 1:23.195 for Jackson Ray Harner, the fastest lap of the race. But Ray Harner, of course, out of contention after that early incident. I say that, he's only 12 seconds off the lead, but that's a lot in only a 25-minute race. Way too much. Update from the nation's capital. We've been reduced to 18 overs aside in that first T20. 18 overs aside. Late night, Andrew Dyson into pit lane. Makes for a late night for everybody in the nation's capital that's gone along to support that game, of course, because it's going to take them another hour to bowl through the what's left of the Indian innings. And then, of course, the 18 overs of the Australian innings as well will be nearly an hour and a half, given modern-day over rates. So by the time you get out of there tonight, you're looking beyond 11 o'clock. Late night for Fox, late night for us. In fact, the only good thing to come out of that rain delay, Matt Schmidtke, is it might actually mean that I get to see the end of the cricket once we sign off here after we're done with the supercars from Sandown. Don't forget, folks, that is coming up. The second of the Enduros, 60 minutes from the Australian home of horsepower. Of course, different type of horsepower is the flavour of the month in Victoria at the moment. Cup Carnival, of course, coming up from Saturday. The race that stops the nation next Tuesday. But yes, Sandown is our focus tonight. 60 minutes ahead. the Supercar season of endurance and bring the brolly with you. Melbourne going to deliver 4 seasons in one day once more. Michael Brennan had a look there to the inside of Adam Funslow. Funslow withstood the pressure, continues to lead this race. When are they going to the lane? Not yet. Oh, no. There goes Chris Hand. Darren Lobb goes through, continues in 4th place. He's still 1.6 seconds off that top 3. Andrew Dyson has come back out behind Greg Colgan, 13th and 14th. Dyson came back out after a stop of 6.28 seconds. So that transit time says to me that we're still... Oh, forceful from Dyson. Got through on Colgan, well played. That transit time says to me that we're no closer to yet working out whether it's going to be 18 or 19 laps here. Wowee, that's Brennan finally getting the move done on Funslow. Funslow fighting back, forcing the issue again on the inside, but he's on the wrong side of the racetrack now, you would think. Oh, 2x2 through the back of the circuit to enter the back straight. That's fantastic racing. Funslow booked. Brookfield there, run onto the back straight, compromise. That's going to give Brennan some breathing space. For the first time tonight, Michael Brennan is comfortably the race leader. It's been clean, this second race.
Certainly
Usually those
has.
races, Matt Schmidtke, as you know, based on your own experience, both as a broadcaster and as a participant, normally you don't want to borrow them because it's just hectic. It's chaotic. And riddled with carnage. Thankfully, this one, not so, as Funslow come pit lane.
Yep, it's been very good. There has been some big ones in some inverts, though the series hasn't been too bad overall, but tonight has been very, very good, very clean, like you said.
I like it when we're in sync, when we're in agreement on issues. As well, you're a South Australian, so you understand my my stance on the daylight saving debacle. So I only hang out with people on team common sense, ladies and gentlemen. That's my motto in 2025. I can hear Schmitty having a laugh about that in the background. Go for it.
Oh, so you were hanging out with Josh before, so...
Oh dear, how good. Yeah, well, actually, that's I was in here having that's a good point, actually. I was having a chat to El Presidente. Actually, he's got some cool infrastructure on the works in the background that we're hoping will be introduced or implemented into our broadcast somehow in the weeks to come. We were having a chat about that because he was picking my brain about some ideas that I might have, and I haven't got the brain capacity at the moment to muster anything up, but I will hopefully get there eventually. That was hip and shoulder, definite. Darren Lobb's going to use that as an excuse to go to pit lane. He got by Richard Brookfield and had to work hard for it, but Walker now will come through to third because Lobb has decided to go to pit lane. Brookfield survives and goes again. Brennan the leader. That's going to make it top 7 yet to stop, plus Greg Colgan, plus Dale Sharp. So only 9 pit stops to come. Still got 22 out there, which is good to see. They're all on the lead lap. That's even better to see.
And, well, you said it's rained at Sport for Ray Hunter. We must be at Hale or something, because by the looks of it, he's had another incident.
Oh, poor bloke. Can't catch a break, can he? There it is. Oh, no. Got too greedy with the curb, was trying to get through on the inside, and it spat him out. It's absolutely spat him out. So Brennan, Brookfield, Walker, and then Baz, then Baldwin, then Sheedy, the top 6, I should say. Lavis, Dyson, Trent Lavis. Even though he's made no positions yet on where he started, he still remains 9th. That will change once these pit stops play out. Trent Lavis as John Baldwin goes through on the inside. Wade Sheedy arguing over the same piece of real estate. Brennan, Brookfield, Walker, Baz all in. Are these two about to join them? Yes, they are. Oh, that was cheeky. That was cheeky from John Baldwin. He knew where he had to park the car. And that meant that Sheedy had no choice but to yield and disengage. Back to the main straight. There goes Dyson. Look who's going to be second. His name is Trent Lavis. Oh, the undercut works for the 69. And now we can go out in pursuit of Dyson. 1.4 the advantage that Dyson enjoys over Lavis at the moment. It's another 1.6 back to Chris Henn. The field is cleansed in Canada. I'm just having a look for where we are time-wise, ladies and gentlemen. I reckon we're going to be 3 laps at the line. So we're going to go 18 comfortably. 3 at the line comfortably. We had to be back at the line within 4 minutes and 10 seconds if we're going to squeeze an extra lap. That's just not going to happen. So there's your 4:10 remaining on the clock now. They're still completing lap 15, 3 to go. $122.991 for Trent Lavis, the fastest lap of the race. Not bad for his first hangout in this series this term, and a pair of seconds to Andrew Dyson is nothing to turn your nose up at. That's Funslow down the inside and Lob around the outside. Finally, a bit of 2x2 action through the back section of the circuit. Now the whips are cracking, the pressure's on. Lob, oh, contact and gone. Goodbye. Lob's going to have to redress that one, I think. And he does move across. Actually, no, he's going to go on with it. He's going to go for Joe Baldwin now. Baldwin around the outside. Baldwin for 5th. Baldwin goes. Very nicely done. Now we're going to have another look at that. Wade Sheedy's gone back to pit lane, so that's a second stop for Sheedy. Baldwin's got his hands full trying to hold on at 5th at the moment. They're side by side behind him. That's Brookfield and Lob. Lob might have a case to answer for with the stewards just yet. Brookfield was wide. That's going to allow Dylan Walker to go through to 7th. Brookfield is too wide, unfortunately. He's going to wash up a bit of speed. He had to because he had 2 wheels in the grass momentarily. He drops all the way to 10th. Moroz up to 9th and Barker up to 8th. Walker there 7th, up 15 spots. Biggest move of the race, as well as Moroz up 15 as well. But whoever finishes the higher of those will get the bonus points. The leaders are 9.4 seconds up the road from Baldwin. This next pack of cars is separated by 1.85 seconds. That is it. It's an extraordinary margin. Separating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 race cars.
Looks like Lob's picked up, I guess it's a drive-through. He's got a black flag.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what else it would be.
That would be an incident point penalty, I'd say.
Yeah, I think you'd be right.
Or a pit lane one. One of the two. Maybe pit lane exit, I'm not sure. We should have a look at the incident again if we can, please, Matt. Baldwin 2 wheels in the grass. The Lob incident, because this is not how you wanted to see this battle end. It was great racing, but the door down the inside, there's the contact. Yeah, you could see what Lob was going for there. He was going for the crisscross to try and get the run down the main straight and the whole shot to turn 1. It just didn't work. He didn't time it well enough to do it cleanly. Baldwin holds on to 5th. Here it is again from the overhead. Now that's Funslow. Yeah. I'll be interested to see how race control view that. I mean, I've got my own views on that. You can see that Funslow's got track position and he's come across to try and consolidate that and seal that manoeuvre complete. But unfortunately, what's happened on the crossback, on the switchback, is that the South African tried to get the run. That's, of course, Darren Lobb, and just didn't get it well enough. And now he's on pit road anyway to complete that drive-through. So that eradicates that. Where are we? Lap 18, folks. Final lap. White flag should be in the air, was it? I think so. Can't see. Yeah, there it is. There we go. One more time around, and Andrew Dyson is looking to do the double. Joe Baldwin's on track for a top 5 finish. 6th in race 1, looking to make it 1 better in race 2. Going to have to hold off Dylan Walker down the back straight in order to make that happen. Suggestion there might have been some net code involved in that as well. That's a fair assessment. it'll be interesting to see if that was actually the case or not. Back straight, Baldwin, then Walker. Walker, Barker, Moroz, Brookfield has got a little bit of breathing space over Baz now. So this is the battle for the remaining places in the top 10, folks. Joe Baldwin holding on to fifth. Can Walker get by on the outside or the inside? Baldwin's going to shut the door, and so is to Dylan Walker. If you want to go by me, go the long way around, young man. Andrew Dyson doubles up in Canada. He swept Monday night in the entree. He sweeps the Wednesday night entree as well. He's filling up in small doses at the moment, is Andrew Dyson. That is brilliant. Trent Lavis in for second, 1.8 the margin. Chris Henn was well back. Then Michael Brennan. Joe Baldwin just held off, as you saw on your screen there. Dylan Walker, Brett Barker, Moz Moroz, Richard Brookfield, and David Baz made up the top 10. Rayhana, Funzo, Lavis, Lob, Losh, and McKern in the top 16. Then Brian and John Baldwin coming through to round out their respective races. Greg Colgan will be 19th. Sam Lehman 20th. Wade Sheedy will make up the finishes, although Dale Sharp was showing 2 laps down, so he should still be classified on 75% race distance. Guy Leach and Ryan Jones, the retirement and non-starter of that 24-car field. We're back underway in the nation's capital. India 1 for 51. And remembering it's now an 18 over a side fixture. And they are 1 for 53 in 6 overs. So they're going along at a good rate, 8.5 to be precise. What are we looking at here? 6.8 to 48, 1 for 50. Actually, it's just a little bit more than 8.5, sorry. And then the first semi-final, South Africa up against England. First over, South Africa none for 9. So England women won the toss, chose to bowl first, and South Africa have made them pay in the first over, none for 9. This was Andrew Dyson's winning moment. Oh, what a feeling. And whatever he seems to be able to do in the Toyotas at the moment, Matt Schmidtke, he's also doing just as well here in the TransAms. That was a clinical drive.
Yep, it certainly was. He seems to be pretty unstoppable these days. He's just winning all over the place.
Well, he's in a purple patch, and he's one of a few drivers that are, but strategically he called it perfectly tonight. Like to go and perform, like we mentioned this earlier, didn't we? Hard to overtake around here. Stay within contact, close proximity of the leaders, then take a gamble. He called it right strategically to go when he did the pit lane, and therefore was able to undercut the opposition and lead at the end of the pit cycle once the field had been cleansed. That's good race smarts, race craft as well, isn't it?
It certainly is. He just, like I said, called it perfectly. Got in the pits just at the right time. I thought maybe he was getting held up a bit by those cars in front, but I thought Trent went at a better time in the pits, but Andrew Dyson, I guess, just had the better speed and got it done.
Indeed he did. And he did the double Monday night in the GR86 Challenge at Snetterton. He's done that 3 times this season on a Monday night. And there's Joe Baldwin chiming in as well. That was hard work. Yes, it was, trucker. But well done on 5th place and 6th earlier in the night. But Dyson, in the entree serving, in the small part of the smorgasbord feast that we offer here across our weeknight offerings, Monday through Friday, he is carving it up at the moment. And normally the carvery section is served for, or reserved, I should say, for the main course, but not in Andrew Dyson's case. My goodness. That was magnificent. So, 2 wins here, 2 on Monday night. Comfortably leading the 86 championship and is putting himself in contention as far as the TransAms are concerned, remembering that he was sitting down in 8th coming into the round. Only 73 points off our leader, Angus Cook, who wasn't on the grid. Darren Lobb in all of that's come through in 14th. Jackson Rayhana recovered to 11th. Adam Funzo, Adam Lavis, then Darren Lobb, Wayne Losh made up the top 15. So Rayhana, 3rd in the championship, a night to forget. Darren Lobb, a second race that he'd want to have again if circumstances would allow him to do so, or the opportunity. Funslow and Lavis. Funslow, of course, involved in that incident late in the piece with Lobb. Lavis didn't do a hell of a lot tonight. He was 13th in that second race, and that was after starting 6th, so 5th in the first race. Clearly the better of his two offerings. Christopher Henn was sitting 6th in the championship coming into this race. He finished 3rd in that second race after starting 4th, which meant he was 7th in the first race. So, yeah. When you look at all of that, Chris Noble not on the grid either. It's been a very good night for Andrew Dyson and his championship aspirations here in merch.tgsrci.com TransAm. That moment left a little bit to be desired for Adam Lavis. That's why he plummeted down the order. He plummeted down 10 spots. He redeemed 2 of those in what was left of that race. Oh boy, I'm puffed out already. I'm zapped. That was great racing in Trans Am. We've got Trophi.AI Supercars still to come. And we remind you again that there's still a couple of big rounds of Trans Am to come your way throughout 2025, folks. That's it as far as October's concerned. November looks like this. Round 5, done and dusted. Round 6, Detroit Grand Prix at Belle Isle, Michigan. Round 7, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Round 8, Sandown. Round 9, Mexico City. And then, of course, round 10 at Phillip Island. The race next week on the streets of Belle Isle, the race at Sandown, they are sprint format, so 2 races for the price of 1. And, of course, the other 3 are single individual affairs. So there were 8 races on the way out. There were 7 on the way home. 5 sprint, 5 feature formats here. So therefore, 15 races make up the campaign. 8 of them done. Cookie will be the one to watch in the second half if he does return to the grid, having used this week as a drop round. Darren Lobb will be probably the points leader heading out of here tonight, with the fact that he was only 17 points away from Cook in the first place. But Daiso is going to be very close. He's going to be dipping at the heels on the back of all of that. All right, I'm not going to pad any longer, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I can only BS my way through for so long. No one's turned up to have a chat to us post-race here. I hope that means they're all jumping in the supercar. If they're not, then I don't know what the excuse is. But we're hoping for a big field at Sandown. It should draw a big field because it is a supercar favourite. It is a supercar night. It's a 60-minute enduro, and it's enduro season for some of our guys that also run over in the ASRG Logitech G Pro Invitational Series, and their Sandown 500 is this Friday night as well. So all those things to factor into consideration. Hopefully the fact that we've got no one here having a chat to us post-race means that there's a good field lining up for the supercars. In the rain at Sandown, we're bringing that to you next as we go around the grounds. England and South Africa, none for 18, the Proteas there in the Women's World Cup semi-final. Australia, of course, in action in the second one tomorrow night. India are 1 for 65 in their rain-affected match against the Australians in 7.2 overs in the nation's capital. That one's been reduced to 18 overs. Oh, hang on. I was just about to throw to the break. And look who turns up. Normally a number that you ring when you're in a bit of trouble, but that's the one thing Andrew Dyson's been able to avoid this season. The 000 joins us from DPR Racing. He let his teammate come in here and be the team spokesperson the other night, and quite rightly so, because Jonesy does have the gift of the gab, knowing his commentary exploits in the background. But Andrew Dyson, what a purple patch you're in at the moment, mate.
Yeah, that's going pretty good, but you're right about the spokesperson thing on the night. I thought there's my chance. Two things. I saw no one was in tonight, so I thought I'd better come in and say hello. I think I owe it to you guys because you're always spending 3-4 hours a night talking about us going around in circles. The least we can do is offer 5 minutes of our time to chat. So I thought I'll come in, and I need to get one back online somehow, but I haven't thought of it yet. So we'll see what comes up.
Mate, we can converse off there. We'll come up with some ideas. Sorry, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. No, Daiso, that was brilliant tonight. I mean, let's firstly talk about a couple of things here, right? 6 clean sweeps on a Monday night, or 6 race wins, 3 clean sweeps, double ups in the Toyotas. You're nailing that formula at the moment, but you've also gone out now and won the last 2 rounds of the TransAms back-to-back. So what is it about the bite-size offering of the GSRC weeknight entree that is serving you so well right now?
I don't really know, man. I think probably a few things, really. Monday nights, those cars are pretty tricky to drive. It's really hard to make them fast when they're on cold tyres, or fresh tyres, really, I should say. So that's probably one of the things that helps. Qualifying is pretty big in those cars, and if you can sort of get to the front and race smart, you can stay there. That probably helps a lot on Mondays. And when you're racing around good guys like Mitch McLeod, who they sort of get it, they know how to get to the front and stay there without battling yourself back to 10th place. That helps a lot. With these cars, I don't know, man. They're pretty fun. I enjoy racing H pattern. Anything with a H pattern, I get around. But I don't know, man. It's probably just the rock up and race top of 5 that I get around, and all the other guys get around. And with that, it's probably less. There's probably less intensity, I suppose. So it makes it more of an enjoyable, relaxed experience, and you can generally survive most of the races.
You mentioned that the 86 isn't the easiest car to drive. I'd take it that the same applies to the TransAm.
Oh, a little bit, yeah. I think I noticed tonight, like, I sort of had a feeling about it last week. One of the boys in broadcast chat said it was going to be Motorsport. I thought you're probably going to notice this track more than any other, that it's going to turn left or respond better going left than it does going right. It certainly felt like that late. It was very, very subtle, but it took a little bit of getting used to in the first few laps I did. As soon as I noticed it, kind of threw me off a little bit, but got my head around it. But they're different. They're hard to drive in different ways. The 86 you really need to, I find, not try as hard. And in this car, it's like you really need to press on because there's a lot more grip out there than I think.
You mentioned having the opportunity to get one back on Jonesy. Why did he pack his bat and ball up and go home early, please?
He's having some wheel troubles at the moment, so yeah, that's just one of those things. I mean, maybe he should. It's my chance to sort of get at him here, but it's a sensitive subject, so I won't.
Well, let's just hope he gets those issues sorted for Friday, because he's got the Sandown 500, of course, to look forward to. Talk to me about the challenges of that invert race, mate, because we noticed it early just how difficult it was for you guys to make your move. You had to do it strategically. You had to do it by calling when to go to pit lane at the right time, and as history will show, you did that perfectly.
Yep, that's pretty much what happened, man. But like, yeah, the difficulties of this track and this car in general is you can't just sort of lay off behind someone, cruise around, get a bit of a tow, put some pressure on into some corners, and eventually make a move. You're really, really relying on getting such a good run to just get alongside somebody and then put yourself in the right spot somewhere, or put someone out of position or something to make a move. There was one time there coming out of Moss, I was behind, I think it was Joe, and he sort of was a bit narrow in and a bit wide off, and I saw it as my chance to go, so I was like doing everything I could, almost like desperately staying in the throttle to keep a run, and I ended up like just touching the back of him, and it sort of gave him a bump and slowed me down a little bit. So then suddenly what was an awesome run turned into like, oh no, this is a half loop down the other end of the straight. But yeah, really difficult. So those sort of things come up every now and then, those little opportunities, and you're really going to make the most of them.
All right, let's have a chat about a couple of other things here before we let you go, and I'll make it quick because we've got the supercars coming up, mate. But firstly, are you having a steer in that tonight or not?
I was going to, but I might just nick off, have a shower, switch my screens over and watch the boys cruise around.
Well, it was either that or you can go and watch the cricket. You've got plenty of opportunities, plenty of viewing options on a Wednesday night.
We've got plenty of monitors as well, so we can sort it out.
That's it, exactly. Same here. There's about 5 of them on at the moment. Let's talk about the fact that you are the the form man in sprint racing at the moment, mate. But as history will show, you can also go out there and get the job done in a one-off race like what we saw last week when you guys were at Sonoma.
Yeah, a bit more to it, that one, though. I think that was going to be a tough one. I think if the other guys didn't sort of trip over each other, that is Darren and I think it was Jackson, were sort of having a bit of a battle, and they were going side by side plenty of times. It was all good. Then one time they just got into each other, and then I couldn't see that Daz was completely rotating, so I ran into the back of the Jackson in front of me, and then he in turn ran into Darren again, and they both went off, and it was a full mess. So otherwise, it would have been a good race all the way, I think, especially if you know, they could hold a lot of pace with me sort of doing a fuel save strap. It would have come down to being pretty close, but yeah, I was able to get that one done. So not as simple as it looked back. Yeah, there was a bit going on. So
indeed, and obviously, as far as this series is concerned, mate, thoughts on next week? Belle Isle, Detroit, Michigan. It's a circuit that we do enjoy watching you guys go racing on, but I can imagine that the challenges of these cars will only be ramped up a little bit more when it comes to that circuit, because there'll be no margin for error. I mean, really, you get punished if you made an error here tonight, same at Sonoma, but next week, when it's concrete walls waiting for you left and right, no room for error.
Yeah, that's and you know, at the best of times, it's pretty. I find this car's pretty weird to tell exactly where the right-hand side of the car is and the left-hand side of the car is. So when you're sort of trying to drive between walls and those really big, like Nordschleife style curbs that you just can't touch, yeah, it'll be pretty critical to not snag a wall or snag a curb, because that will really slow you down.
Indeed it will. Now, aside from getting one up on Ryan Jones and sledging him, and I'm all for that, anyone else you'd like to thank while you're here?
Yeah, just like I said earlier, thanks to you guys who spend your hours every week, in fact, doing this. So that was a whole crew of you folks, but thanks to everyone. And yeah, shout out to all the guys behind the club who make it all happen. And shout out to all the DPR boys for Yahoo in the chat and all the rest of it. It's good fun. Indeed
it is. Well done, mate. Another double. What is becoming the status quo of this season for you, actually. You're in an unassailable lead in the Toyotas at the moment, and you're putting yourself right in contention for the TransAm title as well. So well done. Good luck with the rest of the week. We'll see you Monday, if not before.
Yep, I'll be around. Cheers, boys.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, GT4 tomorrow night as well. And it's nice now that you've actually made up your mind which manufacturer you're going to drive there, Daiso, too, by the way.
Yeah, you know, I was going to swap and change around. I'm doing that with GT3, actually.
Yeah, I know.
The Mustang, it just sounds so good, so I sort of got stuck on it.
Adam, here we go. Adam by design, is Dyson being checked for performance enhancers? No, I don't think so.
No, I'm not, but I have about 3 or 4 or 5 years worth of telemetry and replays, probably around 50 gigs worth now. Maybe not quite that much, but there's a lot. I save everything for every race I do, so more than happy to share if anyone's interested.
There you go. Well, I was going to say, just name your price. I'm sure people would be willing to jump on that at the moment and get some pointers and some insight with regards to just how well you're carving it up at the moment. And that's an interesting point that we might come back and revisit at a later point in time, mate, just how you go about analysing your data and applying it to the next time you're on the racetrack in whatever category and whatever track. But thanks for the intel on that. We do appreciate it. Go well for the rest of the night.
Thank you, boys. I'll catch us later.
Quick break for you. These are the platforms, the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across YouTube and Facebook. Of course, it is Wednesday Night Motorsport. Zach Caban deputising for Dan Yeaman alongside Matt Schmidtke. Hope you're enjoying it as much as we're enjoying bringing it to you. The entree's done. The main course is still to come. On the way to the break, India 1 for 90 in the 10th over against the Australians in Canberra, of course, the first T20. That's the 10th over of an 18-over game now, with thanks to a rain delay. 6th over of the Women's One-Day International semi-final in the World Cup. South Africa, number 35, batting first against England. We do it with thanks to Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, Pantech Industries, Trophi.AI, Sprite Insider, merch.tgsrci.com, and Flash Graphics. We're going to a break. We're off to the home of horsepower in this country, at Sandown Raceway in Victoria. On the other side, for the 5th round, the second of the Enduros in the Trophi.AI Supercar Series. Hope you're enjoying it. It's night 3 of week 5 of term 4, and we're only just getting started. Oh, okay. Well, if you say so. Good to have you company wherever you're tuning in. All around Australia or indeed the world. The platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook and YouTube. Welcome to Sandown Raceway now for our continuing coverage of this Night 3, Week 5, Term 4 Wednesday night motorsport doubleheader for you. And the fifth round of the Trophi.AI Supercar Series. And as you can see at the moment, it's dry, but it's cloudy. And it looks pretty ominous for Melbourne to dish up its usual 4 seasons in one day type of garbage as we bring you the second of the 60-minute races in this series. And it's a good warm-up for some of our guys, like the Lachlan Capels, like the Bradley Rattus, like the Ryan Joneses of the world. That'll be lining up in the Supercar Enduro at the same venue over 500 kilometres on Friday night as part of the 10th round of the Logitech G Pro Invitational Series for our colleagues over at the SimSpeed Esports Network and, of course, the Australian Sim Racing Group. And only then 3 weeks until they're at Bathurst. So a big time of the supercar racing ahead. There's no doubt about that. 29.5 minutes gone here. Let's just have a look at that rain radar if we can, please, Matt Schmidtke, and let everybody know what we're looking at here tonight. There's the probability of rain for you, ladies and gentlemen, somewhere in the vicinity of 60 to 90%. And as you saw, none in practice, very little in qualifying, but yes, expect it to arrive and confident in copious amounts once we get this race underway. All right, let's have a look at the championship standings as we venture into this round for you. Checkered flag is out. This qualifying session is fast wrapping up. And we have 2 splits as per usual in the Supercar Series, like our Porsche offering on a Thursday night. And we can tell you that Sonny Blacklock's on top at the moment and racking up a good number here too, isn't he? 2-round wins so far, clean sweep last week and, of course, the week before. Pole and both race wins last week, pole and the win the week before. He started the season with 3rd and a 2nd. He's on track for his 5th pole position of the season tonight. He's winning the qualifying race so far this year. There's no doubt about that. 266 plays. 189 for Ryan Mulder, 143 for Will Buchanan, Darren Lobb, 139, and Robbie Bradbury, 121 points. And you can just about put a line through everybody else at this point. Development split, Dale Sharp on top of that, 29 points back to Greg Heaney, 3 points back to Adam Lavis, 32 covers the top 3. Nathan Michael, 178. Liam Miles and Mark McNamara tied 5th on 157 and just 1 point back to Mitch Wood on 156. With extra points on the line tonight, that battle is worth keeping an eye on for very obvious reasons. Big field tonight, Schmitty, and they're going to have to keep their wits about them.
Yep, big field, 35 cars I'm seeing. And yep, a little bit of a small track compared to most, so it's going to be a lot of traffic. We'll have to see how everyone deals with it.
Indeed. All right, here we go. We're getting ourselves set, ladies and gentlemen. The match, by the way, good to see Mr. Snedden. Hello, mate. That's, of course, Daniel, sitting down in 20th on the grid at the moment. Yes. And, yes, hello, Panda. Yes, I'm back on your night off. Yep, correct. And only here because Dan Yeaman has family engagements that he couldn't get out of, so he's otherwise compromised, but it's not that he's slacking off. He's got other commitments. That's definitive. That's clear. Track and weather service settings. Let's have a look at that right now if we can. The track's 3.1 kilometres. We know that. This circuit is steeped in history. 2:15 in the afternoon Eastern Daylight Time. Yes, Eastern Daylight Time. We've just gone past 9 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, 6 o'clock on the West Coast, 11 o'clock in New Zealand as we start this broadcast. 20 kilometre an hour winds in a east to southeasterly direction, 19 degrees to the ambient, 27 on track and cloudy conditions. Lachlan Capel will join Sam Blacklock on the front row tonight. Bradley Rather on Ryan Jones, the second row. Will Buchanan, Harrison Lawless, the third row. Jake Slade, Blake Fitz, the fourth row. Tyson Broad and Darren Lobb from row 5. Talk about parity, 3 Mustangs and 6 Chevs in that top 9, and then the fourth of the Fords is 10th in Darren Lobb. James Glasspool, Dylan O'Keefe from the 6th row of the grid. Dylan O'Keefe, there you go, okay, all right. Then we go back to Ryan Mulder and Josh Fitt, then Lachlan Pryke and Jordan Eitler, then Dane Snadden and Nathan Michael, then Johnny Bannack and Daniel Snedden. Travis has a party, Robbie Bradbury, the 11th row, Adam Lavis and Chuk Fung Wong, the 12th row. The 13th row is Nikola Zubcic, and then Stefan Lawrence, Greg Heaney, Aaron Bryan, Tristan Kosh, Jacob Hughes, Martin Lipsky, Dave Oliver, Dale Sharp, Wade Sheedy, and Edward Rollo make up this 35-car grid at the Sandown International Motor Raceway. A track will resemble Lance Stroll's Chin, T-minus 11 minutes. So expect rain. There will be there are 2 compulsory pit stops in this race, ladies and gentlemen, and expect there to be a transitional period, and defining moments will play out as far as this championship's concerned tonight at Sandown. There's the first one. Bang! Trouble on the main straight. Orbit drop bear stable getting into one another. We're going to have a massive shot at Sandown. Oh my goodness me. On the grid, Tyson Broad and Bradley Ratu. Bradley Ratu stalls on the grid. Tyson Broad slams into the back of him. And the Orbit drop bear stables night starts in disastrous fashion as Sam Blacklock streaks down the back straight and blitzes the field off the start. Spread Eagles, he's gone. He leads them away on the opening lap. I didn't even get to finish doing the pre-race ramble, ladies and gentlemen. And the point that I wanted to make is these are going to be definitive moments when the rain arrives, calling it right, making their way either to pit lane or, of course, staying out. And it's going to be a crossover period, but you need to nail that call. You need to go at the right time. You don't want to go too early and convert with regards to that tyre change from dries to wets. But if it is going to be that 11 minutes, as Panda Fish has said, then we've got a 2 compulsory pit stop race here. They'll be in the window to only have to stop twice. So it's not as though we're going to be adding an extra pit stop into the mix here, which is good news. Now, as far as all the cars that were compromised on that opening lap was concerned, Lachlan Pryke, Bradley Ratu, James Glasspool, Ryan Mulder, Dylan O'Keefe and Tyson Broad and Jordan Eitler as well.
Well, we ended the second race of the TransAm with 3 crashes listed on my timing screen. We currently have 15. I'm not going to bother counting them all, and we've only done 1 lap.
Yep, exactly. And talk about tyre gambles, right? Oh dear. Commentary box is covering relative screen on broadcast. I'm not even sure.
No, I've got it. It's gone there. We're good.
Copy.
Just the battle box down in the bottom right.
Copy. Now, what are we, lap 3 already? Blacklock, Capel, Lillis. And I mentioned calling it right with regards to switching tyres. Well, Tristan Kosh started on wets to start with, so he's already taken the plunge. Those wets will be shot by the time the rain arrives, though.
I would think so. It looks pretty grey out there, but there was a very high chance of rain on Friday, and that never eventuated. So we'll have to see what happens.
Oh, that's exactly. Happy days. Blacklock, Capel, Lillis, Jones up to 4th. Lillis up 3 spots on the opening lap. Darren Lobb up 5 spots. 5 for Josh Fitt, 10 for Daniel Snedden, and 10 for Travis as a party. So there are movers and shakers all through this field because of what we've just witnessed. 11 plus for Aaron Bryan, 12 for Jacob Hughes, 12 for Dale Sharp, 10 for Dave Oliver, 10 for Wade Sheedy. The minuses, minus 24 for James Glasspool, minus 22 for Dylan O'Keefe, minus 17 for Jordan Eitler, minus 23 for Tyson Broad, minus 28 for Bradley Ratu, minus 17 for Ryan Mulder, and minus 14 for Lachlan Pryke. So your minuses are big, but some of those pluses are massive as well, and that was Ryan Jones off to a different postcode to rejoin the racetrack, going down to turn 2. Jonesy was off doing a little bit of rallycross. Glasspool a lap down already after 42 seconds on pit lane on the opening lap. Blacklock the leader, already 2.5 to the good. Oh, no, Wilco Whitehead saying that he thinks he's the bad luck charm when it comes to Sandown. Speaking of bad luck, we're talking about rain at Sandown. Bloody rain in Canberra as well, ruining some good cricket. India 1 for 97 through 9.4, and they're off the ground again. That happened in the intermission. I didn't get a chance to cover it as we got back onto broadcast here after our little intermission and our own personal pit stops. Blake Fitz having a good run already, up 2 spots in 6th place. There's Ryan Jones in 5th, hassling Darren Lobb. Harrison Lillis is also all over the back of Lachlan Capel. 108.450 for Capel at the moment, the fastest lap of the race. 4.5 laps gone. Should we go back and have a look at the carnage at the start, which won't look very good in the end-of-year highlights reel for the Orbit Drop Bear stable. That's not a post-race discussion that I want to be a part of, let me be perfectly honest, but have a look at this. Poor old Bradley Raddy just went nowhere, and watch him. His teammate, of course, Tyson Broad, nowhere to go. 2 went left. He tried to go right, ran out of room. That could have been a lot worse than that, but thankfully most of the field, and I want to say most, got through or got out of the throttle enough so that they didn't make impact and therefore didn't sustain damage. But what it's done, unfortunately, Matt Schmidtke, in any other instance, that would be a safety car and a clean-up job. But here, no mercy is shown. They've stayed green. The only disadvantage that we have as a result of that is that the field is vastly spread out, a lot earlier than you'd like it to be, so.
Yep. We've seen how that kind of incident ends up in the real world, but here on the sim we get lucky and there's no big fireballs to worry about, and the cars can get cleared up pretty quick.
Jordan Eitler, the first retirement of the night as well. Tyson Broad back on pit lane, and have a look at some of those clouds descending on Sandown too, by the way. Ooh, she looks ugly above. 108.383 for Bradley Ratu, so that's a way to respond. He's got the fastest lap of the race, but it'll amount to absolutely nothing if he has to make a third pit stop. And the reason I say if is because we don't know how much difference it's going to make when they come in for the wet tyres. And I guess there's 2 things here, right? So yes, you might be able to save a little bit of fuel. Lap times are going to be slower. Things might stretch out a little bit. You might be able to make it home on one less stop, or one more stop, vice versa, right? Depending upon where you stop. But for the guys that have already stopped because they've been compromised by that lap 1 incident, are they going to have to stop twice? Are they going to have to pull the trigger and bite the bullet and go in for wets before their critical lap? And if so, does that mean that they now have an extra invoice coming their way by way of an extra pit stop, whether it's for dries or wets, it doesn't matter. But if they can make it home, if Bradley Ratu can make it home on the pit stop, right, because he's already ticked the box once. If he can make it home on a pit stop whenever he goes for wets, but that will depend on the intensity of this rain and that crossover period, because we saw a couple of seasons ago, didn't we, Schmidtke, in the Porsche Cup? There was no crossover period. Once that rain arrived, it was straight on to wets, right? If we get a similar deluge where it just absolutely thumps down, like similar to what Southeast Queensland copped on Sunday night, then everybody's going to be in pretty damn quickly. But if we have that period of just intermittent spits where you can get away with being on the dryers a little bit longer because the tyres are warm, etc., and there's not too much of a wet line forming, then maybe, just maybe, Bradley Radu might be able to get away with one more stop and one more stop only. But I dare say, I have a nasty feeling that it's a compromise sort of run for him and the rest of his teammates at this particular point. He's got back up to 29th, but unfortunately, Jacob Hughes and Tyson Broad for Riot Sim Racing and Orbit Drop Bear respectively are back on pit road.
Yeah, I think it'll be a big stretch for Brad. I'm not super in on what the fuel burn is for these and what the exact percentage for the enduro round is, but it could be doable with the rain, assuming it comes. I hope it comes. Still looking pretty grey, but no drops yet.
what are we? 8 laps gone now at Sandown. In 9.25 minutes, 9.5 minutes. And we're just waiting for those first bits of rain and for that track to be updated from dry to lightly wet to being, moderately wet to being soaking wet. Daniel Snedden gets a warning for blocking with Dane Snedden on lap 6. They are 9th and 10th on the racetrack. And it's interesting to note as well, I want to make the point for the supercars, you've got a development series in this championship. You've got an elite series. The elite on your totem pole are, of course, the gentleman. There it is for you. Thank you, Matt Schmicke, right on cue. So we've got a few newbies tonight. You've got guys that haven't been attributed to a split yet because this is either their first or second appearance in the supercars. So they are your V8 Supercar TBCs. Your elite split, of course, is the boys in the blue positional plate numbers. Black background with the white numbers. There's a good move on the inside. Steadman's just lost track position, but he still holds the lead in the development split. And he is, of course, showing green and black at the moment because he's the car in focus. But anybody else in that series is attributed by the white number on the grey plate. So white on grey for development, white on blue for elite, orange on black, interesting combination, West Tigers combination, for the guys that are to be confirmed. And there are a few of those tonight, again highlighting the fact that we do have a couple of newbies, but also a couple of drivers, no doubt, looking at this as a good sort of training exercise ahead of those enduros that I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Matt.
Yep, good to see more people jumping in, and there's a few names that I see have returned. They have raced supercars previously with us, but I believe this is the first time I've seen them this season, so good to see a lot of cars on track.
So when does that rain arrive? James Glasspool got a 10-second penalty for the contact on Jacob Hughes. So we haven't had a look at that incident yet, but obviously Hughes still on pit lane. Tyson Broad's still on pit lane as well. So Broad's night is done, and Hughes' may as well be. Everybody in the development split staying out of trouble at this point. None of them have come to pit lane. All 12 of them are still out there. I mean, yes, Kosh is going to struggle immensely because he's out there on wets, but they have avoided incident so far. Greg Heaney to Dandenong Road. This was the incident ahead of him. Someone asking what's the radar looking like. Oh, yep, okay. Heaney got turned around as well. I can't answer that for you. Matt Schmidt will give you a look in a moment. Ryan Mulder, Bradley Ratu, Lachlan Pryke have all been to pit lane as well. Dylan O'Keefe, James Glasspool have both gone a lap down, and Jordan Eitler is already out of the race.
Unfortunately, as far as I know, there's no way to look at just the radar. We have to bring up the whole UI, which won't look very good, but this is what the forecast looks like. So up to 58% in the middle of the race, so hopefully something will happen.
Let's hope so. I mean, it's looking rather ominous, and someone did say at the top of the broadcast the 11-minute marker, but 13 minutes in and still nothing as yet. Although once we see some movement on the windscreen wipers, we will let you know, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, not that it's of any interest to me, but little spoiler alert for those of you that are fans of supercar racing, that actually looked like hail. Did you see that? On the right-hand side on the grass at turn 4, the white spots there, it looked like hail. I don't think we're that far advanced yet with the iRacing weather, Tempest weather system. Wade Cheaty got a 10-second penalty for late moving contact with Dave Oliver. But if you're a Supercars fan, look out tomorrow morning as soon as you wake up, 6 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I'll have it on good authority that they're going to drop their calendar for 2025. Of course, Speed Cafe did leak a draft the other day, if you want to have a look at that. And based on what I've been told so far, I don't think there's too much in the way of variance from that. So it'll be, it's pretty much public knowledge, but it'll be official by tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. There's your spoiler alert, and your only spoiler alert from me this evening with regards to Supercars. Stephen Lawrence to the inside, holds P11, keeps Wade Sheedy at bay. Sheedy back down the inside, the outside rather, down the main straight. We're at the 15-minute marker, so we're definitely at that critical point, Schmitty, where. Sorry, yes, 2026. Yes, you're right. Yeah, 2026, or as they call it in Queensland, 1914. So yes, 2026 calendar for next year. It's been often discussed over the last couple of months, speculated and tipped that it would be a 14-round calendar. Basically, confirmation's already done the rounds that will be the case. But yeah, you'll get the look at the calendar in full tomorrow morning, and you can start putting dates in your diary. Blacklock, Capel, Lillis, Lobb, and then Fitz and Jones, the top 6. At this point, 15 minutes gone, so quarter race distance. So what I was saying, Matt Schmicke, is that we're at that point now. We're at that threshold where you can definitely do this on 2 stops. The question is, the longer we go as well, the better it's looking for the guys that were compromised on the opening lap. The longer we go here, the better it is for them to try and do this on just one more stop. They don't want to be coming in twice if they don't have to. Bradley Ratu sitting 25th, Lachlan Pryke sitting down in 23rd, the best placed of the guys that were compromised on the opening lap so far. But if they can do this on one more stop, they're laughing.
Yep. Though the longer it does go, the longer they're at full noise burn on slick tyres, and the rain deficit, fuel burn, does reduce, but there might just be that sweet spot where they get long enough along that they can pit to get to the end, but also not have to burn too much fuel because it's raining.
Yeah. Now, just updating you, going around the grounds as we watch this battle play out. Travis Party's got his hands full. This is for the effective lead of the Dev split too, by the way, folks. So, as a party, has Sneddon, Bannock, Lavis and Fung Wong for company. 4 Chevs and just Lavis in the Mustang at the moment, down the main straight. Begs the question, right? Look, take or leave the bend as far as I'm concerned. But a lot of discussion about what other circuits we'd like to see on the very sim racing platform in which we've cut our teeth the last 5.5 years. I think the obvious 2 that are missing as far as the current calendar is concerned are QR and Sydney Motorsport Park. And the only reason I say that compared to any of the other circuits, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is sheer track configuration. You've got 5 different configurations at QR. You've got 4 at Sydney Motorsport Park. So I think there's plenty of room to play with those, and then you worry about the rest at a later point in time. Here's Johnny Bannock in 13th at this point to Dandenong. Did he try and get the run off Dandenong? Yes, he did, but he didn't get the run that he would have liked. He's still going to have a lunge. Dive it down the inside. He left it late, but he managed to pull it up. He'll be on the outside for the final corner. He got hung out to dry. He got fed a little bit of grass. It does compromise as he's run off the final corner, and he drops down as a result to position number 13. Daniel Sneddon goes to pit lane. He's not the only one. Oh, actually, no. Jacob Hughes has been on pit lane for 11 minutes, so we can put a line through him, but Sneddon's gone that time through. Oh, there we go. Zubcic has ended up off the road, driver's right, turn 1, in the gravel, in the weeds. Actually, we didn't really go back and revisit how Ryan Jones ended up so wide out on the exit of turn 1 earlier in the race either. But we'll try and follow that up later in the replays. Here's Jonesy. Here's that incident. Thank you, Schmitty, onto it. Like a hawk. Let's have a look at this, folks. Jonesy just visiting a different postcode. Yep, there he goes. Have a look at that. Wow. Yep. Taking a NASCAR Watkins Glen approach to turn 1, you could say. He's sitting 6th at the moment, actually, Jonesy, having an all right run. Blacklock, the leader, he's got Capel and Lillis for company. Now, Blacklock's been caught. Blacklock has been caught by Capel and Lillis. Now, is this a case of Blacklock's gone like a scalded cat, or has he been compromised somewhere along the way? Has he gone like a scalded cat and then decided to taper off the accelerator and save a little bit of fuel and play the long game with these blokes? Does he have the feeling that even though it's looking rather threatening, the rain's not going to arrive? Capel to the inside, forceful, got him! And that's going to allow Lewis to run up the outside as well. The Camaro tucks back in and follows his Mustang driving teammate through. But Lachlan Capel for ERT on top at the moment. 19 and a half minutes gone. This is lap 18. Capel leads at Sandown. Good move, that.
Yeah, it certainly was. I've got nothing, no off tracks or anything listed for Blacklock, so I'm not sure what's going on here, why he's so far down.
Just trying one.
Yeah.
We'll have a chat to him after the fact. I can't help but think that now that he is behind Capel, he might be able to save a little bit of juice. But again, what good does that do them? I ask you that because we know that if the rain does arrive, it's still going to be 2 pit stops. Even if the rain arrives now, it's still 2 pit stops because it's a stipulation within the regulations. It's a CPS, a compulsory pit stop. It's not pick and choose. It's not like what we used to have where if you were witty enough to be able to fuel save and make your car work to your advantage and get to the checkered flag on just one pit stop in a 60-minute race, good luck to you. It's now in the regulations that you must transit the lane twice. And here's the first one. Here's Rado and Blacklock right on cue. Right, they're going smack bang down the middle. 20 minutes gone, 40 to go. The 2 race leaders are on pit road. Darren Lobbs joined them. So too Ryan Jones. At the back of the field, Zubcic. Glasspool, Lipsky, Heaney, Sharp. And that will do us for the moment. Those guys have all gone to pit lane. 5-second penalty for Daniel Snedden for the contact with Johnny Banach at the last corner. There was a car giving way there. Tristan Kosh is going, well, he's a lap and a half down, is Kosh. And he hasn't even completed his first stop yet. He's absolutely destroying that set of wets. The rain hasn't even arrived yet, ladies and gentlemen. We're on. Has someone set the server up and stitched us up the way that Lavis did at VIR in the GT3s?
I'm not sure.
Are we going to advertise rain and not actually get the bloody thing?
I think iRacing need a new weatherman. This will be the 3rd time they've stuffed it up because Friday there was an even higher chance of rain and it never came.
Yeah, I know.
So
I know. It's ridiculous, isn't it? And there's Harrison Lewis to pit lane now. Blake Fitz goes with him. Adam Lavis will be there in about 20 seconds' time. We've picked up Johnny Banach in 4th place at the moment. These guys running outright 3rd and 4th right now, the leaders of the development split. Most of the field is cleansed first time through, the exceptions being Dave Oliver. Pryke and Rudder were due again. O'Keefe is also due again, so too Glasspool. Kosh as well. So in we go. The critical lap and everybody's in. Lachlan Capel and Sam Blacklock are going to come out, but Harrison Lewis is going to be right there with them. There he is, back a shot. He's been overcut. Trenton Naylor, glad you remember that VIR race. Yeah, how could I forget? So the undercut has worked, the overcut has not, but it's not as though Harrison Lewis has lost out completely. He stayed in the lane a little bit longer. He's put a little bit more fuel in the tank. He can run longer in this second stint if he needs to. It might mean less time on the jacks next time through. We'll wait and see. But when are they coming to the lane for the wet weather? We still haven't seen it. It's threatening. It's lurking. It's hovering like an unwanted smell or an unwanted guest. It just hasn't tipped down yet. Capel, Blacklock, Lewis, Lobb and Fitz the top 5. Biggest movers so far. Aaron Bryan up 14 spots. Adam Lavis up 11. Travis Azzopardi up 10. Wade Sheedy up 14 spots. They're the big movers so far at Sandown. Dylan O'Keefe back through onto pit lane this time through. Jacob Hughes has been there for 16 minutes. He may as well just park up now because he's not going to be classified on 75%. Tyson Broad a retirement. Jordan Hartler a retirement. But we've still got 32 running out there at the moment. The second of the Enduros of this series. Blacklock, the fastest lap of the race, 108.237 in his pursuit of Lachlan Capel. And that was the thing. Maybe there's a tactic. Maybe there's a tactic being applied here by Blacklock. Tuck in, benefit from the slipstream, the aerodynamic drag, and off we go. Zubcic, Lawrence, positional change. Uh-oh. Yep. Just as I was taking my eyes off the monitor, that happens. Contact at the final corner. Geez, the final corner's been rife with incidents tonight, hasn't it? I was just having a look. I think that's the, next to Nikola Zubcic's name, I think that's the Croatian flag, if memory serves. On our time, Green Matt Schmidt.
I can't see the flags. You probably can, but I cannot. Wait, if we jump to him, what do you say, Zubcic? However you say it.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I'm still trying to work that out. There it is.
Yeah, definitely. I think you might be right. It is. Yep. No, I've just gone to good old Dr. Google just for clarification on the diagnosis of that. And yes, it was. So that's a Croatian, a South African. Johnny Banach's out there as well with an international flavour. No further action due to netcode Blake Fitz and Ryan Jones, by the way, on lap 20. We've, of course, got Aussies and Kiwis out there. Truly international flavour tonight, the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and this magnificent 5th round of the Trophi.AI Supercar Series. Capel leads by half a second. Lillis is another 1.5 seconds back. Rain hovering. It's like you're just sitting there waiting for someone to hit the flush button, just to open the floodgates and let everything go. Greg Heaney to the inside and too deep. Way too deep at 1 for Greg. Not as deep as the car behind him, though. That was Tristan Koch. So only the 3 retirements to this point, but more worrying is we've got Martin Lipsky 2 laps down and Tristan Koch 2 laps down. It is Bobby Commodities, the Croatian flag. Down the inside. That's Wade Sheedy. And that was Lachlan Pryke. And Bradley Ratu as well wants a piece of it. He'll go 2 for the price of 1. Ratu is back to 18th. How good's that? How good is that? There's probably Bradbury down the inside to turn 1, and Bradbury's going to 15th outright. A 10-second penalty for Stefan Lawrence. So again, at the end of this race, ladies and gentlemen, you're just going to see the provisional results on your screen, but Adam Lavis will then have to go through and manually apply all those penalties to the finishing order and then attribute the points that way afterwards, based on the amended results sheet. I don't envy him that job, let's be honest. Now, here's a bad sign for you, ladies and gentlemen. Fox Sports have started playing highlights of Virat Kohli at the Sydney Cricket Ground in the One Day International the other night. So no good news there with regards to the rain. India still 1 for 97, 9.4 overs bowled. At best, the way things are going, if they continue to lose time, as long as they can get 5 overs in for the Australians with an amended, run chase target, then obviously we can get a game away. But at the moment, it's looking like we might be saying match abandoned, no result, if that rain continues to fall in the nation's capital. Actually, while we're waiting for the bloody rain to fall here on the virtual Sandown, let's have a look at that. No, not the new website. Jeez. Maybe iRacing's got hold of the new bureau here in Australia. Maybe they've cocked up as well. Capel, Blacklock, Lillis, and Fitz the top 5. I want to go and have a look at the weather radar for the ACT for Canberra and just see. Yeah, unfortunately, it's just patchy, intermittent rain around the nation's capital at the moment. And unfortunately for us, it's not actually moving. It's just steady and still. So no wind around to push it on through. So that could well put pay to the cricket tonight. And it's only light drizzle too, but enough for the umpires to obviously intervene and say, no, can't go on, boys. Pack up your bat and ball and go home. Go and have an early supper. Go and have a nightcap snappy. There's Lachlan Capel in great control at the 25-lap mark of this Supercar Enduro. At the 29.25-minute mark, he will start lap 30. 29.25-minute mark
I'm thinking I was talking about 30 minutes, wasn't I? He'll start lap 26. We've completed lap 25. So we're on track for 50 laps here, but the weather would change that if we do obviously have the weather arrive, and that will change the narrative. And we will therefore then need to reassess the expected lap count, the estimated tally, as they make their way under the back straight once more. Cable's opened up a 0.8 of a second advantage over Blacklock. Blacklock looking for his third round win on the trot, of course, if he can get the job done here. Just having a look at Lockie Capel. We've got him down in 14th in the standings at the moment. He was only here for round 2. He won that round at Watkins Glen. Round 1, of course, won by Ryan Mulder. So the absence of Mulder from that split tonight is a talking point. Well, from that contest, I should say. He's down in 24th on a lap down. He got caught up in that opening lap incident. So his chance of trying to stay in contact with Blacklock evaporating. In fact, anybody's chance of staying in contact with Blacklock in this points race falling by the wayside right now. And we don't know what Capel's racing schedule's like for the next couple of weeks, Matt Schmidtke, whether he's going to be here on a regular basis or not. But the fact that he's already lost, not started 3 rounds. Oh, geez, he's run wide. He's made a mistake at 4. That'll give the lead back to Blacklock. Blacklock takes the lead down the back straight. Mustang v Mustang, Orbit drop there versus Evolution. Down the back straight, contact, hip and shoulder. We've seen this before. The Porsches, they need to sort it out before they get to Dandenong. Capel had to get out of it and yield because Blacklock had the line and Blacklock has the lead once more in Victoria. Good, forceful, bit of hard, aggressive racing from that pair. Capel's got to slow down to serve to add insult to injury. And Blacklock will lead us back at the end of lap 27. But that's the point, isn't it? So, I mean, Ryan Mulder's probably looking at a drop round tonight. And that's going to be 2 for him on the back of not obviously being here last week. Matt Schmidtke, first, third and third the other 3 weeks before that. You look at Will Buchanan, didn't race in week 3. Is running 6th at the moment, but is 123 points behind already. Obviously, some of that will come back once the drop rounds are put into the matrix at the end of week 7. Capel sitting in 14th in the points race at the moment. It's all looking good for Sam Blacklock as far as this points race is concerned. Blacklock's already dropped 3 rounds, so he's probably not even a genuine championship contender here. It's interesting how this championship is already playing out. Season-defining moments for Capel, for Blacklock, and for Mulder tonight. Mulder's, of course, unfortunately, just before he even really got into second gear.
Yep, there's certainly some action happening in the championship, specifically. Not a whole lot of action on track. There's been some, but everyone's been racing hard and racing well for the most part.
Wait until we catch up with Greg Heaney in the post-race show. I cannot wait to pick his brain on just who taught him false advertising.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a good gift to send out. The iRacing weatherman stitching us up.
Oh, I know. Yeah, exactly. I get the old Hollywood theatre of it and the banter that it generates, but I'm not a fan of false advertising. And this will be twice. This will be twice now. Oh dear. I've just got this nasty feeling that they've done exactly what they did with VIR, and they've deterred the rain away by pushing, by doing whatever the setting was to push. As soon as the rain's getting close, just push it, like with a wind turbine. Just pick it up and smash it back in the direction of which it came, left and right. Race Control Tower says, let's hope it stays good. Yeah, exactly. Let's hope it stays good, all right. The racing has been good. There's been nothing wrong with the racing so far. The problem is we're waiting for these boys to be tested by the elements. They haven't had that challenge to contend with just yet. And they may not. 0.3 at the margin, first to second. Blacklock being kept honest by Capel. Lewis is only 2 seconds back. But that battle further back, Johnny Bannock, 13th. Trying to go with Adam Lavis, trying to go with Travis as a party. Uh-oh. There goes Bradbury. Bradbury's off the road. Bradbury's gone down at Dandenong. That's a big one too. He's had a loss down there and he hasn't even made it to Dandenong. That's not going to be pretty on replay. And he's had to turn it around and he's resumed in, well, what is now going to be 19th position. Have a look at this. Did he catch the curb at 6? Did he do it on his own? Well, it looks as though he's done it on his own. Right. Oh, no, that's unlucky. Smashed the front end, but really unlucky on the matrix of that. Chemistry never was my strong point. Physics was never my strong point. And that, unfortunately, yeah, that's a hard one to explain because it looked as though the car was stable and then it's just, it's like he's hit a slippery patch on the road and it's just sent him hard right.
Yeah, it was an interesting one.
Back out comes Robbie Bradbury, and he now will be hoping that he doesn't have to stop for wet weather tyres. I stand corrected. He's just put them on. He's just put the wets on. Oh, no. So, Stefan Lawrence also ran into trouble earlier. He's been on the jacks for 4 minutes. And Zubcic has been there for 8 3/4 as well, the Croatian pilot. So those two are going to join the casualty list here tonight at Sandown. Nathan Michael now showing off the road as well. We've picked up Sam Blacklock under pressure from Lachlan Capel. And they've got two things to contend with here. One is each other, and the other is lap traffic. Thankfully, lap traffic behaving itself going one way or the other and staying clear of them, not impacting their battle in any way, shape or form. 36.5 minutes gone, and still no rain here.
Yeah, I'm trying.
We had our gum boots, we had our raincoat, we had our umbrellas all packed. Schmidtke, trouble, whiskey business. Whiskey business.
Yeah, I think that's Nathan. He seemed to be having a bit of trouble.
Couldn't get away from the scene of the crime. Had to wait for all the traffic to clear off. He's now got away, but that was turn 3. Has he detoured 1 and 2? No, he's got back on the road, but the problem is he hasn't washed off all the debris that he's picked up. And away she goes from him. Bang. Clutch the right side of the car. Both front and rear. Got the front left as well, I'm pretty sure. 32 gone. We continue on. We wait with bated breath.
I'm trying to get my hands on a picture of the radar, but I haven't been able to yet. Hopefully we can get one and see if there's anything coming. No, 23, 2.5 minutes left. We'll wait and see.
They can take that 68% chance and shove it sideways. And apparently we were bracing for a lot more weather than what we're actually going to cop, if we do cop it. But actually, the track looks brighter now than what it did 15 minutes ago. The overhead conditions. So it's a strange one. There's a misty look about it. It's the afternoon equivalent of a morning fog. Like there's just that real uneasiness about the sky at the moment. There's something there, but it's just not breaking through.
Well, bad news. I've just got that image of the radar. I'll move it here so we can actually see it.
I can see it where you've got it right at the moment. There we go. Oh, no. Yeah, exactly. Have a look at that. Buckley's. Sweet FA.
Yep.
None. So, again, false advertising, care of Greg Heaney. Can we actually have him penalised in the server for that? Drive-through penalty for false advertising. Would that cut it? Would that be, feasible? Would that be a fair trade-off? Would that be in the spirit of the club and the spirit of fair racing? I'm not sure. Oh dear, Heaney's going to have some explaining to do when we catch up with him in an hour's time. Or actually, maybe half an hour's time, I should say, more to the point. Blacklock, Capel, Lillis, Lob. So now that we know that there's nothing on the radar, these guys are good to go to the end. It's bad news for the guys that had to stop on lap 1 because it becomes a 3-stop race for them. There's no way out of that. We're going to about lap, I want to say lap 50, 51, based on the current lap times that we're getting. Because we got to lap, we started lap 26 just before the 30-minute marker. We've transited the lane once already. We've got another transit to come. It's not the world's longest pit lane, but they were stationary for 21.95 seconds while Blacklock was. Everybody else was 20, 21, 22 seconds. We don't know if the second pit stops will be shorter or longer. There's a few different elements still yet to play out as far as this race is concerned. But I'm disappointed. I thought wet weather racing around here would have been electric.
Yeah, well, the couple of times we've had it in the Porsche Cup, it was very, very good. So I imagine these guys would have put on just as good a show.
Oh, that's just a little bit disappointing. Speaking of disappointing, still no sign of any life in the cricket in Canberra yet, ladies and gentlemen. However, the Women's World Cup semi-final underway over there in India. And also, I think, it's India, and they're playing the Pakistan matches in Dubai, aren't they? So Pakistan already out of the World Cup, of course, or was it Colombo? They were playing them in Sri Lanka. It was the Men's World Cup where they were taking matches away from Pakistan for the Indians. They were playing in Dubai. Bad news for the guys with wets on. You're absolutely right. And into pit lane on that note comes Harrison Lillis, Darren Lobb and Blake Fitz. Wade Sheedy in and out for his second stop. Thankfully, at this point, there's no one in the field show with wets on. Everybody's got that memo, obviously. Dave Oliver was on pit road for 2 minutes and 6 seconds before parking up. He's the latest retirement of the night. Oliver, Lawrence, Zubcic, Hughes, Broad and Eitler all out of the race. We're down to 29 on track. Some of them are 3 laps down already in the case of Tristan Koch. And he started with wets on and drove the entire opening stint with wets on, so he won't be happy at all. But tonight to forget for him. Sorry, I was getting my bearings wrong there. It's India and Sri Lanka for the Women's Cricket World Cup. It was Pakistan and Dubai, or the Middle East at least, for the men's T20 or Champions Trophy or whatever it was that was played recently. That is Sam Blacklock and Lachlan Capel going to pit lane. And Blake Fitz continuing on. Will Buchanan, Ryan Jones to pit lane, so too Jake Slade. So these guys have reached their critical lap. Nice to see Jake Slade back out there. He messaged on Monday and said, I've just re-signed up to the platforms of the GSRC. Myself imposed hiatus is over. Time to have at it again. So good to see Jake Slade back out there. Running 6th at the moment, but sits on pit lane. We'll probably lose a couple of spots here to Darren Lobb. Probably not Bradley Ratu in the grand scheme of things, because Ratu will come back out onto the pits for a 3rd stop at some point late in the piece. In fact, he's on pit lane now. So Blacklock, Capel, Lillis, Lobb, Fitz, Buchanan, Jones, Pryke and Slade the top 9. Slade -2 on where he started. Lachlan Pryke +7. Field looks to be cleansed this time through. So anyway, now that I got the bearings right, yes, it was the ICC Champion Trophy that was Pakistan Middle East joint share, because the Indian games were played in the Middle East. Women's World Cup between India and Sri Lanka, but the first semi-final is South Africa and England, of course, and it's in Guwahati at the moment. And South Africa have made a solid start. They are none for 111 in the 22nd over, so a very, very promising start to the Proteas. And whether the Poms can chase that down, well, you can tune in and find out via Amazon Prime, because Amazon Prime is the exclusive rights holder of all ICC tournament events between now and the end of 2027, when, of course, there'll be a new rights period up for the taking, up for the grabs, and hopefully it'll go back to a free-to-air broadcaster at that point, because Amazon Prime swooped on all of that and made the federal government and their anti-siphoning list, pulled their pants down and made them look silly, really, quite frankly. Not for the first time. Blacklock, Capel, Lillis, Lob, and Fitz the top 5. Buchanan, Jones, Slade, Fit, and Snadden the top 10. The other interesting thing in all of that too is I'm very lucky. I do have an Amazon Prime subscription, care of my sister, because she has the sub for that. I've got the Stan and Disney one. Mum has the Paramount and KO, and I think she also looks after the Netflix as well. So between the three of us, we all contribute to the Caden family streaming pool. Up onto the back straight we go now. Blacklock goes through. Lap traffic forcing the issue here. Lachlan Capel, only 0.3 of a second away. So even though they've stopped twice on the same lap, they've come out within close proximity to one another. It's been centimetre perfect from the pair of them so far tonight. Nothing really won or lost. Hard to tell who's got the upper hand at the moment. It's only by track position that we're giving it to Blacklock, because Capel will be there if he so much as sneezes. There's Will Buchanan. It was pointed out in the comments there. Archmodian by him that Fitz and Buchanan is a spicy battle. It is the battle for fifth on the racetrack. Only 0.28 between that, so not dissimilar to Capel and Blacklock. The retro-inspired Kmart livery there for Fitz, of course, for rapid theft. Down the main straight. Harrison Lawless, a great drive. Brady Baldwin, no, it hasn't. We were expecting it to absolutely tip down cats and dogs, and it bloody well hasn't. It has in Canberra, where the cricket's on hold, Australia and India. But it hasn't rained here, and we're fed up by it. Oh, no, trouble at Dandenong, trouble at Dandenong. Bradley Ratu has got by and got himself up into 12th in all of that. He's got to try and get by Banach now. Banach's off the road. That'll help. He'll have a slowdown as he comes back onto the racetrack. Radu will hopefully therefore get himself up into 11th, which will be 11th outright and in split. And Johnny Banach still managing somehow, with Travis as the party all over him like a cheap suit, to hold the lead of the development split. Blacklock leads by 0.2. Fitz over Buchanan for fifth by 0.2. Radu's finally got himself to the head of that train, and we've got more cars in trouble at turn one. Oh boy, Wade Sheedy. Brady Baldwin, yeah. Good luck in the Pro Series, mate. I'll be tuning in. I'll be, because I'm jumping in with the boys for the 1,000 in the com box, so I've got to start making my notes. So I'll be tuning in to watch Sandown. I was advised that you guys might need your umbrella there as well, but if it's anything like tonight, it might also be false advertising. So that incident, they arrived on scene to find the HTS Racing entry. That was Tristan Koch again, wasn't it? Compromised down there at turn 9. And here's how that happened more to the point. 12 minutes to go. Final fifth of the race. South Africa have lost their first wicket against the Poms. They're one for 116, just the standard usual. Lighted up too eagerly off Dandenong Road incident there for Tristan Koch. Blake Fitz still in fifth, being hounded, being pursued by Will Buchanan. Australia and India still on hold due to rain, 1 for 97. Around the grounds on a Wednesday night. Back down the main straight. Will do, mate. Looking forward to it. I'll be, as I say, I'm in Warwick this weekend for the final round of the Motorsport Australia Queensland Circuit Racing Championships, commentating Series X3, the XLs, and looking forward to that immensely. But as a result of that, when I'm looking for my own amusement and entertainment on Friday night, I won't probably catch all the race, but I will absolutely tune in for for some of it. Slady needed some time off to get over Big John getting deported from odds. Oh, no. Trent and Naylor just throwing Slady under the bus there. Lachlan Capel, the leader. Blacklock and Lillis. Lillis has caught them again. Harrison Lillis has caught them again. Now, how has this happened? More to the point. Lillis was, again, a couple of seconds away. And now we've got a genuine 3-horse race at the front. Has Capel been a little bit slower lap on lap? Not really. So it's hard to gauge exactly where Lillis has caught those guys.
Let's have a look here when they swap positions. Maybe they were a bit slow as well.
Lap traffic.
Yeah.
Yep. And Blacklock, and so Capel has gone back to the lead. Yeah, that's a fair point. But was it clean? Was it fair? Ooh. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, well, that's how it happened. They got
That's
really
how it happened.
Yep.
It was absolutely clean and fair. Like, nothing wrong with that. But Harrison Lillis, the big beneficiary out of all of it. Interesting. So now it's going to be interesting to see how they play this. Does Blacklock go for the glory, or does he go for the points and just consolidate? Or does Lillis have an opportunity here to play the supporting teammate role if Blacklock can open the door and get through on Capel? Does he open it far enough for Lillis to go through there and then play roadblock for the remainder of the night? And we're in the final stages now, 9 minutes to go. What we say, 51 laps? I don't think we get to 52. Minute and 8 a lap, so well, we might just squeeze it in. Depends on when Capel gets back to the line here, though, because 7 by a minute and 8, because that's the pace we're running at the moment. Although you're closer if you round it up to a minute 9, but let's go a minute and 8. 7 by a minute 8 is 7:56. We're actually, we're going to get 8. So we're going to go to 52. It's 8 minutes and 8 seconds on the clock. 7 8s, 56. 1:08. So 1 minute, take the 7. 7:56. We're going to get back with about 10 or 11 seconds on the clock. We're going to get 8 laps. So these guys are going to have to race for about 61 minutes instead of 60. And they're going to have to find an extra gear for that last lap, for that run to the checkered flag. It means that Capel's got 7.5 laps now to hold on. Fascinating scrap here. Look at the margin, though, Matt Schmidt. Look at the damage that they've done here. The distance that they've put between themselves and everybody else. Darren Lobb, who has had a very good night with the exception of that little incident in TransAm, he's sitting fourth, but he's 18 bloody seconds down the road. He's an extraordinary way back.
Yeah,
there's 2 seconds off him as well.
These front three have absolutely been flying. Like, the last few rounds, Darren Lobb, he's been pretty close to battling with Blacklock at the front, and he's nowhere tonight. Just these three have absolutely gone like just flying.
Let me be the bearer of bad news. The first T20 between Australia and India has been abandoned. No result. Rain has put pay to any hope of us getting back on the field there in Canberra. Rain, the winner in the first T20 between Australia and India. It's a 5-match series. The second one comes up Friday night as well. Oh, actually, sorry, boys. I said I'd be watching the Sandown 500. I'll probably be watching the cricket, actually, quite frankly. So, yeah, it's done. It's all over. No result. Game has been called off, and it's a washout. So, bad news there, but good news for us because the weather stayed clear of Sandown for some bloody unknown reason. And we have a fast and frantic, eagerly awaited 6-lap dash to the flag ahead of us here. Capel, the leader, has extended that margin out to 0.6 of a second. Harrison Lillis, another 4/10 back. Then Darren Lobb. Then Fitz, Jones, Buchanan, Slade, Fit and Snad in the top 10. Ratu has a party. Pryke and Banach, then Lavis. As a party now, the leader of the dev split, it's important to note. 6 to go. Capel leads to turn 1.
Trent did mention Cable having a 5-second penalty, but I did see that pop up, but I'm not sure what it was for. So
no,
we'll have to see.
You just have a squiz, yeah, and let us know. And if he does have a 5-second penalty, then that'll rule him out of business, won't it? So. Yeah, there's a couple of interesting things playing out here. Ryan Jones has gone up into 6th spot ahead of Buchanan and wedged himself in behind Blake Fitz. So Fitz, Jones, Buchanan, and Jonesy on a bit of a charge on the run home. Slade, Fitz, Snadden, the top 10. Ratu's only 4 seconds off Snadden at the moment. Lap traffic's going to have a role to play in all of this as well. Who can get through it slightly less compromised than their opponents. That could go a long way to determining how this plays out. Adam Lavis will be the next car to go a lap down. Johnny Banach straight after. And Lachlan Capel is with them now. So Lavis in 15th plus 8. 18 for Wade Sheedy, the biggest mover of the night. Aaron Bryan plus 11. Plus 11 also for Dale Sharp. Plus 10 for Edward Rollo. Our retirement list now sits at 7. Because Dylan O'Keefe is the latest retirement. Dave Oliver also out. Stephen Lawrence, then Zubcic, Hughes, Broad and Eitler. Greg Heaney is now stationary on pit lane, has been there for 50 seconds, so he's done as well, you would imagine. And that's a tow rope job, that one for Greg, unfortunately. That takes us down to, well, it's going to be 13 cars on the lead lap once Banach is accounted for, once he moves out of the road and lets Capel through. But I'll tell you what, the fact that Adam Lavis is there is a good buffer for Lachlan Capel to have right now, because he's put himself between 2 lap cars here. Lavis will move out of the road, Banach will move out of the road, but Orbit Drop Bear have lost any potential slipstream drafting benefit or opportunity that they might have otherwise had from Lockie Capel. And now Banach's got him behind Lachlan as well to make life even more difficult for Blacklock and Lillis. Track position is king, isn't it, Matt Schmidtke?
Certainly is.
So we'll have to get to the bottom of that incident and that penalty, if there is one, because it will have an impact on the results. But Capel plus 1, Blacklock minus 1, Harrison Lillis plus 3, Darren Lobb plus 6, Blake Fitz plus 3. Jones and Buchanan are right there with him. That's the closest battle on the racetrack right now. Adam Lavis is still there hounding Johnny Banach, but Travis Azzopardi has the development split under control right now. We're on lap 50 of 52 at Sandown International. Just keep your eyes on that, ladies and gentlemen. Capel's at Dandenong Road. And again, if there's more... Oh, geez, he had a little bit of a bobble there, didn't he? Didn't pull it up as cleanly as he would have liked on Dandenong, and now it's reduced the margin. Blacklock and Lillis are taking a little chip out of it. Back to the main straight they come. There's a minute 20 on the clock. We're good. That threshold is of no concern at the moment. It's 2 to go at the line by about 7 seconds. So there you go, folks. Exactly a minute of overtime coming your way. And a 50-second lap for good measure as well. Slowdown to be observed by Dane Snadden. That'll help Bradley Ratu out potentially. Bradley's only 1.3 seconds away from Dane at the moment. That's good news for Ratu, not so much for Snadden. And to be fair, that's a remarkable recovery from Bradley Ratu. He'll be annoyed with how it started. He just had a box full of neutrals trying to get off the line. But that's a great result for him to get back to being on the cusp of the top 10. What have you managed to find with regards to the penalty sheet, mate?
Yep, he is listed there as having run 5 seconds. I believe it was fairly early in the race. I didn't look at the lap, but I think I know when it was. So we
Just
might
for
pull up a
clarification,
replay.
who was it with the 5-second penalty?
Blacklock. Capel's got the penalty for late move on contact on Blacklock currently.
Right. So that was the first move for the lead earlier in the race.
I believe so, yes. I believe it was this one.
Well, in that case, then it'll be Capel going back to third, and Blacklock and Lillis will be going through first and second. So you won't have a dissimilar situation to what you had at Bathurst earlier in the year in the real world, with the first across the line not actually being awarded as the race winner. That was the move there. And you know what? I actually didn't mind that. I thought that was good, hard, solid racing. But it'll be because Blacklock lost a second spot to Lillis. That's all that'll be. And 5 seconds seems a little bit harsh on poor Blocky Capel, to be honest with you. That wasn't a 5-second compromise for Blacklock. But anyway, so that's a cruel way to lose a motor race, but Lockie's made no apologies in the past for being a forceful, aggressive driver. So why would he start now? Look who's joined us, by the way. So much for packing the raincoat, the gumboots, the bloody umbrella, the super stopper and everything else. Greg Heaney, what the bloody hell's going on here, please?
It's Melbourne.
Checkered flag in the air. Lachlan Capel goes across the line first, but Sam Blacklock at this stage will be listed as the provisional winner of the Trophi.AI Supercar Series Enduro at Sandown. 3 on the trot. 4 race wins and 3 round wins on the trot for Blacklock. It is provisional because Capel will have the right of reply by way of appeal on that decision. And I'm kind of aligning with the comment there on the right-hand side of your screen. I did think it was a little bit harsh. Greg Heaney, being the series manager here, might have a look at it and give us his thoughts on it in just a moment if Matt Schmidt can replay it. Bradley Ratu does get by Travis as a party to go. Gets by Dane Snadden, I should say, another one of the Whiskey Business stable, to go to 10th outright on the final lap, which, given how it started, is a magnificent recovery. And Ratu will go across the line in 10th. 3 stops in all. Blacklock, Lillis, Capel, then Lobb, Fitz, Buchanan, Jones, Slade, Fit, Ratu, Snadden, Pryke. As a party goes a lap down but wins the dev split ahead of Banak, Lavis, Sheedy, Bryan, Fung Wong. Mulder recovered for 19th. But what does that mean for outright? It puts him about 14th outright in the elite split, which is unfortunate for him. That's probably his 2 drop rounds burnt already. 20th outright was Daniel Snedden. The podium in the dev split was Azapati, Banak, and Maverick. That's Adam Lavis, of course. Fung Wong was 18th, Mulder 19th, Snedden 20th. I was trying to remember where I was up to. Glasspool and Sharp Michael, Bradbury, Rollo, Lipsky, Kosh, Heaney. Okay, we'll get to why Greg parked up early in just a moment. He's still classified at 75%, I think you'll find. 13, 26, 39, 52. So, yeah, he's fine. But not the round he would have been hoping for either. Then we go back to all the retirements. How good to have Dylan O'Keefe on the platform of the GSRC. Dave Oliver, Stephen Lawrence, Nikola Zubcic, Jacob Hughes, Tyson Broad, and Jordan Eitler. Well, all right. First things first, that's exit for Greg Heaney. Although that looked like a relatively tame way to park up for the night, Gregory.
Yeah, there was a black flag involved for a drive-through penalty. And I'm like, well, at that point, it's like 4 minutes or 5 minutes to go, and it's just like, yeah, no, I'm just going to park up. So that's all that was. And keep the car off the road, not going to throw it into a fence and nothing and spit the dummy. It's just a pull over and reset the car back to pit lane. And yeah, and that was basically it. Obviously, with as many guys spread through the field that I had on grid off the start, there was a call that there was a big one at the front and slowed, copped a rear end from somebody in the confusion of cars going everywhere. But yeah, it was unfortunate for Ryan, Ryan Mulder. He a good drive to get back from where he ended up in the end there, off the start. But yeah, car not going anywhere. Exactly what happened.
No, well, that's exactly right. And to be fair, that's one of those racing incidents, isn't it? I mean, when you're going to have a box full of neutrals on the grid and you're on the third row, and we know that everybody fans out very quickly at Sandown, you've got the options of zigging or zagging. And unfortunately, Tyson Broad, by mere fractions of a second, left it too late. He was on the right trajectory, just ran out of real estate in which to finish zagging. The first two in front of him had already zigged. Have a look at it again. This is on board with James Glasspool. He jumped the start, so he was stuffed before we even got going. And yeah, bang, there we go. Goodbye. Nowhere to go. See you later.
Well,
Glasspool very lucky in the sense. Glasspool very lucky in the sense that nobody went the same way as him, and therefore he didn't get clouded in the rear end, and therefore was able to continue on. But look how long it took that garbage to sort itself out. But I agree with you, Greg. Real world, that's probably a red.
Well, yeah, red, because there probably would have been a giant fireball in the middle of the main straight. We've seen that happen before.
Here's the view from Ryan Mulder. Oh, no. So one went left, one went right, and because it was a pinball effect, yeah, we just had no hope.
Yeah,
no luck
which was
at all.
Unfortunate.
Bloody car park.
So, and as for the rain that was hoping to happen, unfortunately not.
VIR?
It's Victoria.
No, I'm saying, like, we had rain in the forecast and threatening when we took the GT3s to VIR, I think it was last term, and it didn't arrive.
Oh, that's right, yes, true, yeah.
Did you have the same methodology, matrix in place, to push it away from the circuit? What'd you do?
No, I had it at, I think it was a 58% chance in increasing through the race period. So it should have started wet and gotten worse.
Yeah, and it didn't.
It didn't. So I don't know. Who feels like racing around the gateway to hypothermia in the rain?
Yeah, possibly in a few weeks' time. Why not? Although that being said,
we'll see how Sam feels about going around the Southern Loop in the wet with a nice southerly breeze. There's your weather forecast. See, look, there was supposed to be rain there.
Right, Phillip Island, well, that's right. Phillip Island in round 10 as well as Super Sprint. So you got 3 opportunities to get the weather forecast right on that occasion.
Well, yes, true.
From your own standpoint, mate, disappointing that the night ended the way that it did. But I guess when we get to this point of the season, we start talking about drop rounds. We start talking about championship. You had been in the top 6 throughout all the first 5 rounds of the season, of 4 rounds of the season, 5 races. This will be the first drop round. It does hurt a little bit more because it's an enduro, no doubt. But onwards and upwards to the second half of the season. And even more fraught with danger next week. You've got to survive street racing and sprint racing at that on the streets of Long Beach.
Yeah, well, it's unfortunate it didn't finish the way I was hoping it would have finished tonight. But as you say, we move on, pack it up, move on to the next track, and go from there. So we'll see how we go at Long Beach. So with any luck, it's a slightly better performance than what we had tonight. Though well done from the other guys, and especially from Trav as a party getting the win in the dev split after being relegated a couple of weeks back due to the pure pace of the guys from Orbit. They're just so fast. One, Sam Blacklock, he's so quick, it's ridiculous. We were trying to figure out how on earth these guys are doing 7s in qualifying.
Yeah.
And like, where do you find Oh, it's nuts. So no, look, if you pick a car or a discipline and you stick to it and you just punch away at it, you're going to get that fast. So it's just a matter of probably a bit more practice from my behalf to be able to pick up those few extra half tenths or half seconds here and there to push on a little bit further up the grid. But no, we'll get there. But no, well done from my boys for apart from with everybody that was on the grid tonight, and to finish what they did, and particularly for Travis for picking up the win in the dev split, and Dane getting, as I think it was 11th outright in the elite split, and a decent recovery drive from Ryan as well, from ending up in pit lane on the end of lap 1. So.
Indeed. Now, just going around the room, I feel a little bit sorry for poor old Lockie Cable here, because he's outnumbered in every sense of the word. Heaney's got a teammate in here. There are 3 committee members in here. Lillis has got a teammate in here. But we'll get to Lockie Cable in just a moment. We'll get to Sam Blacklock. We'll get to Harrison Lillis. Trav Zapati will hopefully be back to have a chat to us as well. He's just ducked down to race control, I think. Now, Greg, you're obviously a neutral party in all of this. The incident that's in question at the moment, the incident that we're interested in talking about and analysing, is the one between Lockie Cable and Sammy Blacklock early in the piece. We didn't think much of it at the time, but Cable's been slugged with a 5-second penalty. It's the difference between winning and third. We thought it was a bit of Rubbings Racing fair game play on, but I can see both sides of the argument here. I think because Blacklock then lost a second position is why he's Lockie's been slugged with the 5-second penalty. So if we can get Matt Schmidtke to roll the tape, just so we can have a look at that, so that we can get your thoughts on it from a neutral standpoint, please.
Oh, I can have a look.
Here it is now on screen for you. Dandenong Road.
I'll actually bring up Matty's stream so I don't get it delayed on the...
Oh, well, you've just missed it, but that's okay. We can show it
That's
again.
all right. We'll watch it on the stream. I'll watch it on the YouTube stream, so it's all good.
Yeah, right.
So let's have a look.
Greg's watching an incident about 30-second delay, which is funny because I'm living in a state that's on a 112-year delay, but that's okay. Continue on.
I mean, looking at it again, I don't know. I would probably rule it as NFA, as hard racing. I think I caught you mentioning that at the end of the, towards the end as I jumped into the broadcast.
Correct.
However, I'm, as you say, neutral party. I'm not really weighing in on it in any way. I would think that's just hard racing, but we'll leave it up to race control and the stewards to decide as to the outcome of the incident in question.
Very nicely done. Now, Whiskey Business, what's on for tomorrow night? GT4s, Porsches, your thoughts?
Sean will be most likely on track in Porsches, unless he's been absolutely addicted to Battlefield 6 again. And then, he'll be on for GT4s, if I got myself right now. Stumbling over my own words in a minute. And I'll be in, myself, Dale, will be in for Porsche Cup.
All right, very nicely done.
And hopefully Luke King as well.
Yeah. Now, Friday night, are you deputising for me in here?
At this point, yeah. Unless
unless
Liam's jumping in. I haven't spoken to Liam yet, so I'll definitely be checking with him tomorrow.
Confirmation from your teammate that he'll be on tomorrow night, and I obviously deputise for Yeaman tonight, so I'm sure someone will be calling in a favour from someone somewhere on Friday night. If it's not you, it'll be Banksy, it'll be someone will be here with Joe Baldwin Friday night, and you'll have normal programming as per usual, the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Can you believe half the season's already gone, Greg? Yeah,
don't remind me.
I know, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Absolutely. What do you think of the rest of the schedule on the run home, mate? Mexico, Sandown, and then off to Imola and Phillip Island.
Oh, look, I mean, I built the thing, so I reckon it'll be all right. I think the outlier track will be Snetterton. It is I did obviously pick the 200 course, so it is that little bit shorter than the 300, I think, where the GT4s might be running tomorrow, I think. I think the Snetterton 300 layouts is being run in another series, but I thought, well, if I pick the 200, it's kind of similar to other tracks in real world terms that the supercars would drive on. So yeah, I reckon that one will be interesting. Imola always brings up some good racing, so that should be good. And then, I mean, who doesn't love a super sprint at the island?
Oh, absolutely. It delivers 9 times out of 10. So hopefully it'll continue to do so. Good to catch up, mate. We've got plenty of other great guests here to chat with. We're glad that you were able to be first cab off the rank. We appreciate that. Go well for the rest of the week. We'll catch up tomorrow night.
No worries. Thank you very much.
All right, there he is, Greg Heaney. Just repeating the news, no result. First T20 International, Australia and India. It was 1 for 97 in the 10th over when rain stopped play for the second time, and they did not get back on. Canberra getting a dose of Victorian-style, Victorian-esque wet weather on a Wednesday night, ruining another game of cricket. South Africa have stumbled, actually, in the Women's World Cup semi-final. 29 and a half overs gone. They are now 3 for 148. They were none for 100 at some point there against the Poms. You can watch that on Amazon Prime. Sean Bonici's very much excited about getting onto Brands Hatch tomorrow night for GT4. He'll finally get to race that track. I'm interested as to what sort of quality of racing product it'll offer up. It'll be interesting to see. Tomorrow night, sprint racing, Brands Hatch in GT4. Let's go around the room. We've got Sam Blacklock here. We've got Lockie Capel here. We've got Harrison Lillis here. Hey, nice of you all, but drop there, blokes, to stop playing games that aren't iRacing and join us again, I must say. I couldn't help but notice last time I was here on a Friday night, a serious absence of Orbit drop bear entries, but nice to see you blokes back out there. Blacklock, I'll start with you. Well done at this stage until we hear otherwise, and I'm interested to get Lockie Cable's thoughts on whether he's going to appeal the decision or not. But at this stage, we've got a Bathurst-esque situation on our screens here with the driver crossing the line second being awarded the win. Your thoughts on that and the race at large, and obviously the disappointment that we're all feeling that we didn't have the weather impact that we were expecting it to.
Yeah, firstly, not the way you want to win a race, not being the first car across the line, but yeah, I'd say I'd take it, but yeah, look, I've had a look at the move, and yeah, I don't think there's much in it, and yeah, I'd support Cable's decision if he were to protest it. Yeah, I think there was a tiny bump before the actual move, which very slightly pushed me wide, but yeah, I don't particularly think there's much in it. So
no.
I mean, yeah, and then towards the end there, you know, I let Lockie pass. Just you know, he was quicker than me, and you know, I was kind of giving him that chance to, you know, if he got lucky enough with traffic to pull that 5 seconds, because yeah, he definitely was the faster car. Yeah. So yeah, look, we'll take the first or the second, whatever it ends up being. Really solid night for myself. You know, Capel and Harry and a few of the others, you know, they've been doing a lot of laps getting ready for the Pro Series race here, and this is my first laps, so yeah, I'll take whatever result I get.
Podium finishes right throughout the season so far, mate. 3 round wins on the trot. It's got a real Term 3 vibe to it, this series for you.
Yeah, it hasn't been the smoothest of sailing, especially in the first couple of rounds. So yeah, it's nice to have a good result, especially with the competition that was here tonight, and you know, and Harry and Locke and Capel. You know, the three of us, you know, had an awesome battle there. And yeah, if it wasn't for some unusual behaviour from some lap cars towards the end, we were probably looking at a really exciting finish to that. So yeah, bit of a shame, but you know, I guess, you know, the old saying, you know, if you're scared of escalators, you know, there's steps you can take for that. So yeah.
You mentioned lap traffic, mate. I have to ask, because we didn't actually see it. There was a point in time there where you guys had a considerable buffer on Harry. Was it lap traffic that helped him reel you both back in there?
I think it was a little mistake from Capel that allowed Harry sort of back into the fight. But you know, we got bunched up again, and then Capel got lucky with some traffic where he got through, and then I actually got defended. I had a lap car defend for whatever reason. So then I lost a little bit to Capel, and Harry was sort of right on the back of me, and then the same car that blocked me then blocked Harry. So yeah, bit of unusual activity going on. And you know, that ultimately that ended the chance of a really exciting finish. And you know, I know Harry's really disappointed about it. I'm a little bit less disappointed. You know, it helped me in a way, but you know, I would have rather had a good race with Harry at the end there and scrapped out for it. And you know, even with Capel there, I caught back up to him, and you know, I knew that he had the penalty, and I didn't realise the incident wasn't as it seemed, I guess, from when I was in the car. So I knew it was sort of all on towards the end, but yeah, nothing I could do really to get back past Capel.
No, not at all. You mentioned the pedigree of drivers we've got lining up here at the moment. How nice that the calendars align, that we're at Sandown the week that the Pro Series is at Sandown. That's enticed a few people to come and use this as a training run, mate. It's good when the universes align like that. We don't see it terribly often.
Yeah, no, it's always good when you know, you're putting time in for big events, and you know, those tracks are the same as what you're racing in other series. But yeah, I also love the challenge of when it's not the same way, and you know, it's a completely different track, especially you know, with some unusual ones, especially this season. We've had a couple of unusual tracks, and I'll be honest, I probably enjoy them more than these rounds, just because it's a little bit of a challenge, you know, obviously getting a setup that's sort of comfortable to drive around that track, but also, you know, it makes the racing quite interesting, especially when we, like, I think last season went to, I can't remember the name of the track. I'd never driven on it before. And yeah, that made it really interesting because, you know, you didn't really know where the passing opportunities were. So I guess in a sense, this was good. You know, we had people that have been working on their cars and stuff like that. And I'm lucky enough that people in my team have been working on this car while I've been busy at the Gold Coast 500. But yeah, looking forward to Phillip Island, where you know, there's we've done a bit of work there recently, as I'm sure everyone has, most people. So yeah, that should be good, and see what happens for the rest of the season.
Let me ask you a couple of other questions before we get Lockie Capel and Harrison Lillis into this, and I'm really looking forward to catching up with Harry. Got a couple of please explains to ask him, but while I've got you, the interesting thing here is we know that you're probably expecting safety cars on Friday night, but you've just done maybe 1 or 2 laps shy of 1/3 race distance, right? So 166.67 is that third race distance mark, and we've gone 52 laps. You probably needed 53, 54 to get third race distance. 54 is 108 and 54 is 162. Race distance is 161. But if we go caution free on Friday night, that's going to be an almightily quick race, just a little over 3 hours. We know that probably won't end up being the case. But let me ask you this: when it comes to racing, and you know, you've got servers like this midweek, you've got a big race Friday night, you can use this as a training mechanism. Are you someone, when you're doing your preparation for racing, do you prefer to go and do lone practice, team practice, server settings that are, you know, just you guys away behind closed doors, or do you actually like the fact that you can go and do some racing laps and get some data that way, mate?
Look, I like a bit of everything. You know, I think V8 Scops, you know, the pre-qual, that's always, you know, you know, everyone's on, or for the most part, on qualifying fuel and trying to get the most out of their cars. So I really enjoy that challenge of it. But then, yeah, I also, in my own time, like doing a bit of, you know, AI races or just private test sessions with teammates and stuff like that. And yeah, it's I guess it's the backbone of this car is just putting the laps in and getting familiar, and just, you know, seat time, I think, is everything in these cars. The more you drive them, the more competitive you'll be. And you know, Harry hasn't typically driven the V8 Supercar much at all, but he spent, you know, the last I guess week or so driving it. And yeah, look, his pace tonight was awesome. So yeah, like that's a perfect example of just the dedication and time it takes to get quick in these.
Thoughts on what's coming up next week once you get through Sandown? You mentioned Phillip Island, that's not until week 10 for our GSRC series, but next week, Long Beach?
Yeah, Long Beach hasn't typically been kind to me in gents. Won't lie, last time we went there was yeah, it was a bit of a car bruiser, but I'm looking forward to going back there. It's a track I'd say it's probably on the more enjoyable side for me. And yeah, obviously we don't really race these cars that much, so looking forward to the challenge and looking forward to having a good battle on the old streets of Long Beach.
All right, mate, very nicely done. Anything else you want to add before we go and chat to Lockie and your team, mate?
Yeah, just a big thanks to you guys for putting on the board. Oh my God, I'm having a seizure, I think. Yeah, big thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast. Obviously, Zach, I know you can talk the hind legs off a donkey, so I appreciate you being here and chatting to us after the race. And yeah, also just a big shout out to Lockie and Harry for an awesome race for the most part there. And yeah.
Very nicely done. Now, I got a bit of breaking news to get out of the way here as well, boys. Great to catch up with you, Sam Blacklock. I'm feeling the tongue-tied nature of, and I'm sympathising with you on that front at the moment because it's a night for it. And me being here on a night where I'm not normally rostered on as well, I don't think that's helping matters either. Go get out of here, mate. Well done. Congratulations on that. On the way out, congratulations to the Australian Diamonds as well, because they played 2 games of netball tonight. Earlier in the evening, the Silver Ferns of New Zealand won the 4th match of the Constellation Cup 62-57. That took us to 2-all, which meant for the first time in series history, they played a series decider, because gone are the days where we're content with 2-all and using, other formulas to get a result. We actually want an outright so-and-so won more games than the other result these days. That's the society we've become. So you can't have too much of a good thing. But in a shortened, compressed match, our girls got the job done, 12 goals to 11. And the Constellation Cup champions, they regained the trophy in 2025. So well done to the Diamonds. Good news to be able to report there. Good on you, Blacklock. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Zach.
Lockie Capel, your thoughts on your involvement in that incident? Because obviously, when you've got Sam Blacklock's support saying, I'm happy for him to appeal that because I didn't think there was too much in it. We were saying the same thing here in commentary. The only thing that I, sort of highlighted as a potential caveat for why they might have given you the penalty was because he lost 2 spots instead of 1. Had that just been a fair game sort of positional change, I don't think they'd give you that penalty. But because Harry got by as well, I can see why they've handed that down. But I thought rubbing's racing, and I thought it was hard and fair and play on.
Looking at, I've had to watch back of it because I was a little bit on the not.
You're a little bit
side.
filthy, were you?
There was a bit of contact lap 1, turn 1 that I just wasn't happy about. I've looked at it on the replay and it's just net code really. It just, in my perspective, it felt like I'd been had off, so I wanted to do the V8 thing and, return the tape a little bit. But in the replay, it was literally net code. There was no reason to have any malice from Blacklock there. And following that with Ryan Jones sticking it up at turn 2, wasn't exactly happy about that one either, because everyone knows that you don't pass through turn 2 and 3 unless you want a massive crash. So anyways, I managed to pull in Blacklock eventually. I knew the boys at ERT have been grinding officials all week, and we built one hell of a setup that I'm very, very happy with. We've made significant strides, thanks to Robbie coming back for a week. Knowing the setup calling as Danderbong, so good setup name, always made something by Robbie is going to be good, so was very happy with it. But to the incident, to me it was probably a perfect Dandenong bomb. You see it happen all the time. I did 3 hours of race control yesterday, so I can kind of see if they're going to go off overlap turning point. Although it's a bit of a differentiating corner. When you look at it, you know, not much room was left at the apex, but when you look at the entry, technically I didn't have overlap by the time Blacklock started to turn the wheel. But the thing is, the corner's always a turning corner, so you're going to be having the wheel turn much earlier than what you think. And Harry didn't actually get by Blacklock. He backed off to let Blacklock go in front. So technically he didn't get in front. I'm of the firm belief that I don't think that the penalty should exist or stand, but at the same time, it's Blacklock's championship. I'm just jumping in a couple of rounds. I don't care enough to protest, really. It's racing. I get protest. I appreciate the support from everyone saying that, you know, you should. At this point, I don't have enough, you know, care factor to protest it, being all upset about it. It's racing. We're playing a game. It's not that big of a deal, and especially it's not a championship thing. It's I'm just happy.
No. I agree with Louis Greathead. Great to hear you firing up, either on a Friday night or a Wednesday night. It doesn't matter. At least you're passionate, mate. I love it. But I will advise you that we're not into December just yet. That's when the usual airing of grievances takes place. If you've ever watched Seinfeld, you'll know what I'm talking about. But in the meantime, apart from that, obviously, pretty clear-cut race, great run, you know, highly strung in the sense that it was just, you guys were punching out lap after lap. It was consistent. There was not much in it at any point. No one coughed or spluttered to give anybody a leg up. You hit your markers with pit stops. You were barely separable, and Harry was only a stone's throw away as well. It was a terrific scrap.
Yeah, it was a very, very good battle. I mean, trying to get past Blacklock had, we could see the setup differences. We had a little chat just after the race. His setup was a little bit struggling through the exit, through the mid corners of some of the slow ones, but I just couldn't get the run off any of the corners. I think my set struggles on drive. So it was a very equal race. I think it's very, very impressive to Harry, who you may or may not see this weekend or this week at the Pro Series race as a co-driver for someone. And the strides he's made this week is absolutely amazing. To see him up there is good, because considering he is a GTP person, and that is as far away from his car as possible, it's good to see him up there.
Well, actually, you've just led me into the next talking point with him. Actually, I'm still not sure that he is still a GT3 person, considering that he's gone AWOL from the GT3 series here on a Monday night. So we're going to have a chat with him about that, as well as learning the supercar. Lockie, thank you. You've already laid out the script for me perfectly. Now, we're past 10:30 Eastern Daylight Time, so I can say what I'm about to say. Any bitching and whinging about parity amongst your mob between the Ford and the Chev, or is that just a real world thing?
No, that's a real world thing. I mean, the driver who
Nah, if I was in a Mustang, I would have won that, to be fair. So, yep. Needed that upgrade, to be honest. Brody Kostecki would advise that as well.
Crazy. Turn 4 at Sandown's a good place to overtake, but yeah.
Fucking
have a look at love it. Have a look at Harry Lilly firing up, coming in off the long run. Keep going, Lockie. I'm not done with you yet. I'll get to you though, Harry.
No, let's let Harry fire up. He needs a good one, considering how hot-headed he might have been at the end of the race. So there's another talking point for you to let this continue go to 11 o'clock. In terms of me feeling like the outlier, I may not be an outlier for long.
Yeah,
so,
copy.
We'll see.
Watch this space is what you're saying.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, but very, very happy at least. At least I had good competition because I relayed this a lot to the officials, so getting a little bit more practice in for Friday is always nice. It's not as relating because the setup is only 50 litres, so I can't get a full stint prep in, which means I think I was burning my tyres a bit too much over pushing. But come Friday, I think everyone's going to be on the chill pill a little bit, except for a couple of people that might try moves that might not be a good idea. So we'll see what happens.
I guess the other thing as well is it's only an hour here. We're all sweating on or threading on whether there was going to be any rain or not. That ended up being a bit of false advertising that we're still not happy about. So it ended up being a bit anticlimactic in that regard. But at least, as you say, on Friday night, you're going to have another 109 laps of racing over an extra 2 and a bit hours. And the narrative will play out a lot more than what it did tonight. It'll play out a lot more conjointly in terms of it'll ebb and flow. There'll be a few more chapters and verses to it than what there was tonight. Hey, last time we saw you here, a race win. That was 3 weeks ago. Nice to back that up with a podium tonight, whichever way the result goes. But in saying that, how many more appearances are we going to see from you in this Supercar series, mate? Because whenever you arrive at the moment, you're competitive at least.
Yeah. I luckily enough paused the stream a little bit ago when there was the season calendar up. So I might take a lob. Oh no, December 3 is Phillip Island. That's the same day as Pro Series. So I was going to do that one, but unfortunately can't.
It might be. Yep.
We'll see. We'll see what it brings. I mean, after Sandown, I'm free reign from Pro Series until December 3. So
Yep.
'cause I'm not doing Bathurst.
That's
so
right.
maybe I might take a couple of dips in between some uni pro.
If nothing else, to keep yourself race fit, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I need to keep myself quick in this car. It's a major leap from the Gen 2 in terms of competitiveness. I don't understand why. Just go back to looking at the Pro Series Round 1 qualifying. I'm actually preferring to not immediately qualify through into the 20, but rather be out of it so I can get that extra laps in the car. That proved massive with this year, so carrying on to next year might be a good idea. But the round 1, I was 3/10 off pole and I was like 25th. So it's stupid close in this car. So the closer it is, the more competitive is, the more you need to practice. So.
And I guess on the same token, mate, it's one thing for that formula, that method to work for you, to go through the pre-qual, etc. But without putting too fine a line on it, as you know, you're only one result away from that backfiring majorly.
Yeah. It's there's that fine line between you're gonna, for example, tonight, when you're gonna pull a move off and when you're gonna completely throw it in the bin. And the car, there was one moment as Blacklock did entail that the car got a bit out from under me and I lost about half a second. That put him back in the draft and we had a little battle. But it's learning, getting more experience, comfortable in the car, and I've felt the most comfortable in this car so far at Sandown. You can just lob laps over and over and over and over and over again. So I think Pro Series is going to turn the intensity up, but the strategy up as well. So you're not going to see as many crazy stuff that happened tonight, especially with lap cars. So I think we'll be a lot more chill in that possibility of it going over the edge right now.
All right, mate, very nicely done. I'm going to leave it there because I don't think there's too much more to explore with regards to all of that. It's been feisty, it's been fiery, it's been entertaining. We've enjoyed it. I hope you have as well. Well done on that. Anyone you want to thank on the way out?
Oh, I have to give a big shout out to Mr. Rob Gibb, Bob Scrum as they would call him at home, for making this stock. And I gave him a little bit of a baseline to start off with, having converted the famous Wemeng document, as we call it. And from there, from the Gen 2 to the Gen 3, he's built something that's amazing. And yeah, we've all been racing it, and it's definitely paying off. I think we had top 5 times at Sandown for the last week official. And it's been very, very competitive, so I'm very happy with the team for being able to put something together for the possibly a final time for this year. So that's good, and also a big shout out to you guys putting on the broadcast as per usual, and then Blacklock and Harry for having a good race. I was very, very surprised that Harry was able to keep up pace with me, but I think a bit of driving and a bit of dock work has allowed him to do so, so it's good to see. And obviously Blacklock were having a bit of a scrap as well, so no hard feelings between us two, and we'll keep battling away as per usual.
You just reminded me, actually, I on the subject of doing the broadcast, I normally keep a tally of the ones that I do. I need to add a Wednesday night to my invoice. So just excuse me while I do that, Lockie. Well done. Congratulations to you. Great performance as always, mate. Hello to your team boss, Brenton O'Brien, too, if he's tuning in. I know he's been a busy boy the last couple of weeks, and he'll be busy again on Friday night. Go well there, and we'll catch up with you when you're next on the platform to the GSRC as well, mate. Thanks for that.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, brilliant stuff. Great to catch up with Lockie Capel. All right. Now Harry Lillis has the right of reply. So you thought you might have won that if you're in a Mustang, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Parody's terrible.
Which begs the question, why the bloody hell did you go for the Chev then?
Only because it's what I'm going to be in on Friday night there, Zach, or may not be on Friday night.
No, well, I think you've pretty much just answered the next question. So and nice to catch up with you too, by the way. All right, let's go back and cover off another important topic. You were on track for a hat trick of GT3 championships, but you've gone AWOL. What's going on there, please?
I would joke around and say I've given up on GT3, I'm never driving again, but yeah, no way. It's just been a bit of a busy time, a few things going on in and outside of racing that have just kind of drawn my mind away from the Monday nights. Obviously, would have been really cool to go defend, get the hat trick. Not saying it's impossible, but it's pretty difficult after 3 rounds gone. But yeah, just a little bit busy, Zach, and mine's on a few other things. Importantly, this one for this week. So yeah. Not much complicated stuff behind that, just a few things on my mind.
Yeah, but at the same time as well, mate, that's something that reverberates so well around our platforms, around our club, right? And you know this all too well because it was bound to happen eventually. It's going to happen. You're not going to be the only one that has that situation arise, right? The sim world was the big winner of the pandemic. We had a couple of years in which we couldn't go anywhere, couldn't leave our own postcode, couldn't leave our own home at times, etc. and so forth. We needed an escape. Sim racing was the answer. It was probably for some a saviour in terms of mental health and other things. But as the world got back to a new form of normal, the sim racing never went away. So it's been a case of adapting that into our new normal. But the juggling act can become a little bit too much at times, and you've got to compromise sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a really good call you make there, Zach. Just about the balance kind of thing. Sometimes life gets in the way of the racing, and sometimes you got a little bit more time. I'm certainly not short of time necessarily, but just getting the mental in the right spot. It's really easy to sort of draw yourself into a spiral with these things and lose yourself a bit. But yeah, you just got to know when to have that healthy bit of room from it. It's all I really do, so it's kind of hard to get away from it sometimes, but just got some really good guys around me back at the team and even outside of the team that are always got my back. So yeah, no, it's been really cool.
All right, now the next point. At what point did the discussion begin with regards to drafting you into a supercar? Hang on, Sam Blacklock, sir, this is a Wendy's. He might want to explain that comment for me in just a minute. But I love it when the guys are sitting here in the commentary box having a chat to us, and they're also sledging on socials. Wendy's, do they do milkshakes and ice cream? Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have a caramel milkshake and a scoop of caramel and banana. All right, now let's go back to Harry Lillis and straighten things up a little bit here. When did the conversation begin to get a GT stalwart like yourself to make that step up or that step across, whatever you want to call it, to broaden your horizons? And I hate using that terminology because I think we overuse it, but there's no other real way to say it. But this is a big step for you, dedicating some time to the supercar when your bread and butter is GT3. How have you enjoyed, well, firstly, having that conversation, being asked in the recruitment process to come and play a part of it, but how have you enjoyed learning the car, learning the idiosyncrasies, the differences between GT3 and supercar, mate?
Yeah, it's
the background. Come on. Explain the background somehow.
Oh yeah, I can go into it. I can. It's a bit of a funny one, to be honest. I've notoriously labelled this car a complete bucket. I have never liked it. Drove it on release week, was up there with some pretty sharp guys from Gen 2 just during the first week. Then I threw it in the bin after Watkins, and never to be seen again. Really, really dislike the car, but for some reason, at Sandown, it's a good time. It's obviously, you've only got a handful of corners to get right, but somehow it's one of the most technical supercar tracks going around. I think it's just so, like, every single corner, every single sort of time you're getting on the throttle is crucial for lap time. You really don't get away with anything. Like, I'm out here, I've done a good bunch of laps over the past week or so, like Blacklock said, feeling like my lap's perfect, but these guys that just drive them all the time, there's still that sort of 2.5, 3 tenths that I just cannot see. It's quite rare that I get in a car and feel that, but absolutely in these cars, it's just nuts. Like, I do not know where it is. Probably in the blipping somewhere or along those lines, but it's really a craft getting these cars right. And like Blacklock said, it just comes from the seat time. I've had a hell of a lot, but not enough, apparently. So, yeah, definitely a completely different challenge to the normal stuff, which you say is GT3, but it's most definitely GTP over the hypercar class.
Well, I mean, I'm more synonymous with you in GT3, hence why I went down that route, but I appreciate the clarity, or the correction, whatever you want to call it. But in saying that, mate, how important is it for you for this to go well? Because at the end of the day, it's not everybody's cup of tea. You've already highlighted that. I guess the other point here is that we have a lot of drivers. Lockie's an example, Blacklock's an example. They can jump in, car to car, be competitive. Brenton Hobson's another one, Trent Laver. I could go on, I could rattle the names off. But then you've got your category specialists, right? And, I mean, obviously with 2 GT3 championships to your name, in this club alone, we would attach you to that list. But how important is it for your growth as a sim racing competitor to then go off and be competitive in a non-GT, be it P or 3, discipline?
Yeah, I mean, it's always just like, it's mostly about fun, right? Like, we're all here just like enjoying the racing, and some people enjoy different things. There's sort of been a mixed response to this car. I think even people that drive it all the time don't really like it. That's just the truth. But there are people that do enjoy driving it. There are people that just kind of find their groove in different categories, and it is really cool to sort of have the support network behind you to be able to jump in and have that support to kind of build the skill set. That's one thing I think we do really well here at Orbit Drop.AI. It's just like there's so many sort of classes that people are really sort of settled in, and you can sort of get that advice really quickly. And yeah, it's just really cool to especially jump into the supercars, which most people do around here, and yeah, be at the pointy end somewhat. Still definitely not quite there. I think I was probably gifted by a slightly lower track temp here and so on, but that's just me coping a little bit. Otherwise, it's really good fun to jump in another class for a change.
Indeed it is, mate. Although I must say, the one thing I'm observing tonight, Matt Schmidt, you might be able to back me up on this. I'm really liking the Scott Pye-inspired-esque bloody unfiltered approach we're getting from these 3 gentlemen tonight, aren't you?
Yeah, you caught me at a bad time. I'm just filling my face with some chips.
I was going to say, yeah. Schmidt keeps there at the moment. Everything's in autopilot. He's just waiting to end the broadcast. We're getting our wrap up at the moment. Sorry, mate. We won't hold you up much longer. In fact, if we cross back to Schmidt in 5 minutes' time, he'll be sitting there with his head on a pillow. Hopefully we won't be having to wake him up Wiggles style, but that's all good. Harry, that was straightening up and talking about that race specifically, though. As far as training runs are concerned, they can't go much better than that, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I was really surprised because obviously I'm driving the setup that's give or take what it's going to be on Friday. Just trying to get in the groove of it. Obviously, we've got a different fuel load here, about half the amount of fuel. In fact, about a third, to be honest. But yeah, laps are laps. I think the cars generally lap time aren't really influenced too much by the fuel anyway. Obviously, to an extent. I think definitely once you up it to 120, it's quite a bit different. But just getting the seat time and yeah, getting into the groove, sort of adding to the laps I've already done. And yeah, really good training session to sort of highlight where our car might be strong versus actually a couple of other teams. So yeah, good to know.
The other point as well, with regards to all of that, and Lockie mentioned it as well, my ears pricked when he said it and again when you said it. You talk about the fuel tank restrictions, right? Just explain to the audience at home. I mean, it's probably well documented by people like Larko and Crompo, etc., when the real world stuff's going on. But talk to me the difference, the impact that has on you guys when you're setting up and driving these cars, because obviously when you go with a full tank of fuel, I'm also assuming that you're on fresh rubber as well. So as that fuel tank burns and the tyres wear, just how much do things change between the setup tonight and what you're going to be dealing with on Friday?
Yeah, I mean, when you're asking me about these cars, it's definitely a bit of blind leading the blind, but I'll give you my best response I can, Zach. It's definitely these cars, you sort of got 2 laps to get your time, and then from then on, you just sort of, you can only drive what's underneath you. I think it goes for almost any class, but it's just really, really obvious in this, with these tires. They're just so fragile, and they fall away from you instantly. So then having to manage that, obviously, as always with any car, it's balancing the pace along with it. I think there's a lot of very particular little skills in this car that make the difference between the guys that know how to save a tire, but then know how to save a tire in these cars. They're just such a, they're a bucket, to be honest. They're a complete bucket. They've got no traction and they're awful, but everyone's in the same boat, quite literally. Yeah, you just got to drive what you've got underneath you.
Sink or swim, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I can say to that one. Everybody's in the same boat. As long as it's not the Titanic, I think you'll be okay. Now that you've had your run here, your training run, when you're preparing for GT3 or GTP, and I guess this one as well, training miles, I asked Sam Blacklock the same question. Do you prefer a practice run, or does a race run serve your personal preference, your purpose, a little bit better?
Yeah, I always love talking about this, or at least just like seeing how people operate. Everyone has really different sort of processes to get themselves prepped. I think that's a really cool thing. It's something you'll see like in a bunch of other sports as well outside of motorsport. For me, generally, I like to crank bulk laps in. I'm definitely not like a hot lapper kind of person. I know a lot of people are, especially in this car, because it's sort of how you outline where the time is and so on. But definitely the kind of person to just jump in a private test, and yeah, get bulk laps in, work on the consistency side of things. I think that's an area that I've always focused on quite heavily. Just being able to punch the same lap times in over and over again. I think that's one of the most important things that you can practice. So that's sort of always in the ace up my sleeve. Just, yeah, really trying to nail down that consistency wherever I go.
All right, Matt, very nicely done. Now, talk us through what the schedule looks like from this point, because obviously we know the GT3 has fallen by the wayside. We know other things are going on. Obviously, you've got hopes of a strong result on Friday night. What does the schedule for Harrison Lillis look like beyond that? Now that you've had a whirl of this, will we see you back here on a Wednesday night sporadically for what's left of the term or not?
As much as I'd love to, probably unlikely, Zach. I think it's just this track that I really like in this car. Who knows, maybe I'll turn up for like the last race, or if there's another track in that calendar that sticks out to me and I've got nothing else on a Wednesday, but probably not. Otherwise, for the schedule, pretty straightforward, to be honest. It's just going to be this on the radar primarily, just making sure that I'm able to put in a performance that's good as a co-driver. You know, you've sort of got that responsibility to be prepared, so that's absolutely the first thing on the priority list. And then next week is IVRA round 2 at Imola, so like that will be definitely on the priority list straight away after that, probably Saturday morning. So outside of that, pretty simple schedule. I think we've definitely been busier over the past few weeks, but we'll see where we end up.
Interesting to note too, normally these blokes are very quick to get in here, say their piece, get out again. I've still got Mr. Blacklock and I've still got Mr. Capel here. So the question that I'm going to ask before I let Harry finish it up by thanking a few people, do either of you Orbit Drop Bear blokes want to comment on Bradley Ratu stalling on the line or not?
Stalling, he didn't turn on his car.
Oh, no.
So that's what happened there. I dropped my clutch, off we went. And Ratu said, oh shit, I didn't turn my car on. And from then on I was expecting the safety car, but that never came. So yeah, quite an effort there to go through the entire lights procedure, have the session go green, only then to realize your car wasn't on. I think that's quite an effort.
It's ridiculous,
yeah,
isn't it?
I've just got an update on that too. What Brad's just said is apparently the lights came up, obviously, for the start of the race, and Brad decided to have a glass of milk, or have a sip of his glass of milk. I think he's already on his 4th or 5th one for today. And he was sipping it and didn't actually realise the lights had come up. So, yeah, obviously by that point he was trying to get the car on, but yeah, by that point everyone's already moving, and yeah, bit of a skill issue.
Okay, so at the risk of giving you blokes a chance to throw him further under the bus, feel sorry for Tyson Broad. I mean, if anyone was going to collect him, you didn't want it to be a teammate. And secondly, this is the thing, right? We all know, it's no secret that Brad's an extremely good operator, but he just seems to have next to no or sweet FA luck when it comes to the GSRC.
Yeah, it's very unlucky for a couple of the boys there. Rough night for Tyson. Would have been really cool to have him up the front. Obviously, he's the one that drives these cars so much alongside Blacklock and stuff, so that sucked. But yeah, if Ratu wasn't focused on his glass of milk, his 5th one, it wouldn't be so bad.
What was the poison that was put in before the milk was, if you get my drift?
Oh, dangerous to mix beer and milk there, Zach. That's very dangerous. So I think he's just a milkaholic. I think he was probably down in that full cream.
Righto. Well, I wasn't sure if you were going to say rum, vodka, whiskey, gin. I don't know. You mix anything with grog these days, from what I've heard. Me, I just go straight down the line with soft drink, but that's another story. Hey, let's wrap it up because we've been here for an hour already. Harry, anyone you want to thank?
Obviously, just as always, guys at the team, you guys for putting on the broadcast. Really good race, and yeah, really cool to sort of try my best to keep up with Capel and Blacklock Day. It was really good fun. Just sort of having that benchmark after quite a few laps, probably done more laps than Blacklock's done, which is always something. So for him to still sort of outpace me just annoys me, but obviously he's a legend in these cars. He's been in them for a long time, and it's really cool to go at it with these guys in something that I don't drive very often, and I was really grateful for them to acknowledge that pace that I've sort of found over the past few weeks.
Practice makes perfect, as they say. Very nicely done. Good to catch up with you boys. Thank you for that. Well done, Harry. Well done, Lachlan. Well done, Sam. Great racing as per usual from you three, and looking forward to more of the same when the series returns next Wednesday night. And Dan Yeaman's back in the booth next Wednesday night. I'll be here the Wednesday after, deputising for him. That one's already been pre-planned. This one was a bit last minute, but well done. Great work. Hopefully the forecast is a bit more accurate on Friday night, and you do get the challenging ingredient thrown into the mix that is the weather. But however it goes, we'll all be tuning in. We all wish you all the very best of luck. Thanks, guys.
No worries, man. Cheers.
Thanks, Zach.
There they are. Harry Lillis, Lachlan Capel, Sam Blacklock. Entertainment Plus there in the post-race show on a Wednesday night, and a long one as well. Appreciate them sticking around. Appreciate you sticking around as well, ladies and gentlemen. Helps that there was no bloody cricket to watch, because that first T20 international between Australia and India washed out partway through India's innings. The rain had already seen the match reduced to 18 overs. India were 97 for 1 at the end of, or near the end of the 10th over. It was 9.4 overs in when rain stopped play for the second time, and that was all she wrote. South Africa up against England. That match continuing in, of course, India at the moment. The first of the Women's World Cup semi-finals. The South Africans 5 for 195 after 39 overs. England will have to chase whatever they're set. 11 overs to go in that match. You can watch it on Amazon Prime. And the Origin Diamonds, the women's netballers, have got the job done in the Constellation Cup. Australia over New Zealand 3 games to 2 with that extra time match. There was a short and truncated version of the game of netball that was played after the 4th match wrapped up. New Zealand won that 2-2, and Australia went on and won the decider, the trimmed down version of the game, the overtime, if you like, period, 12-11, and that gives them the Constellation Cup, a trophy to bring home with them from across the ditch. I don't think I've missed anything. Matt Schmidtke, nice to team up with you again. Nice to be able to deputise for Dan Yeaman on a night where we saw some top shelf racing. It would have been a real a letdown if had I rocked up here and we got an absolute stinker or, you know, something lackluster. Far from it. The TransAms delivered, and so did the Supercars.
Yep, good racing all around. TransAms, just Andrew Dyson, just out of this world performance. And those three at the front in the Supercars as well, just pulling away from everyone.
Nice to see you out there on Monday night as well. That GT3 Lambo having a good run. When are you next on track, please?
I'll be around Friday for the Skippies and the NXTs. Hopefully it goes better than last week.
True. Apart from the results side of things, how are you enjoying that NXT car, please?
It's pretty decent. Like, it's quite fun to drive. It was mostly just the wet that caught me out. Though I did somehow pulled off second the previous week, but all the fast guys didn't turn up. But yeah, it's a fun car to drive.
At the bend, that's right. Yeah, they were racing at the bend. Now, well done on all of that. Great to catch up with you. Thanks for your time tonight. We remind everybody at home that these are the platforms, the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. We stream across Facebook and YouTube. We do it Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Friday. We do it with thanks to Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, Trophi.AI, Pantech Industries, Sprite Insider, merch.tgsrci.com and Flash Graphics. Let's have a look at what's coming your way as this massive week continues. I've already done overtime this week. I was going to say I was a bit worried then. We had a blank schedule. That will be the screen we bring up on December 5 when we're signing off and saying see you in 6 weeks. Enjoy your summer. But no, that's the schedule. That's what's on the horizon for us in the immediate future here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Already a longer week with the fact that we've had an enduro for GT3, a second enduro for Supercars. Tomorrow night, stock standard normal programming, sprint racing first up from Brands Hatch for the Disruptive Labs GT4 Challenge. That's 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time. That is sprint racing. So I think it's the third round of sprint racing for the GTs already this term, and we're looking forward to that immensely. We've had some good it'll be the second sprint round. I think I've got no idea at this particular point in time. I'm just absolutely zapped. But at Brands Hatch, whatever the case may be, sprint racing tomorrow night, and a tricky track to master, tricky for overtaking. So that sprint race will be cutthroat. There's no doubt about that. Imola, the venue for the Porsche Cup, with thanks to Pantech Industries immediately after that, 9 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, lights out there, and we'll bring it to you live, exclusive and free, commercial free during racing as per usual. 40 minutes the journey there, and Dan Correa-Sar alongside me. Friday night, someone will be here to keep Joe Baldwin company. There's your agenda. The Sakuba Circuit plays host to the non-broadcast 5th round of the championship for the Skip and Slide Skip Barbers. That's 2 sprint races there, 7:30 Eastern Daylight Time. The boys will be on air around about that 8:35 marker for the 45 laps or 65 minutes, whichever comes first, of the 5th round of the Disruptive Labs Road to Indy NXT series. That is coming up from WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca on the west coast of the United States. 8:45 Eastern Daylight Time, the race start there. They'll spin the wheel Friday night to determine what they're driving around Mount Panorama for 32 laps in on Saturday night from 8:30 Eastern Daylight Time, and with that, the first half of the term will be done. We resume on Monday night to get the second half of the term underway, and we do so with a double from Donington Park for the Toyota 86 GR Challenge, with thanks to Waste Options, and that'll be races 11 and 12 of the campaign, 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time. Then we're off to Sebring. Nick Fadiata slid into my inbox earlier today, Matt Schmidtke, and he said, if I'd have known I was on broadcast, I was only made aware of it this morning, but if I'd known I was on broadcast, I would have stopped in here regardless of the result irrespective. I would have come in and said g'day. And I said, well, I know you won't be there next week, so we'll catch up in a couple of weeks. But all is well. It's good to see him out there in the GT3s and the Mustang, but he won't be touching a GT3 or the barge pole next Monday night because it's his most detested track on the server in which we are visiting. It's Sebring International. It's 2 sprint races. It's 8:45 Eastern Daylight Time, and hope you can join us for that. Because it is sprint racing, it'll be a race from the Pro-Am split. That'll be the feature. The sprint, the opening leg of the sprint doubleheader will be from the AM split, and that will be 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time for the Toyotas and 8:45 for the GT3s. Then on to Sonoma for Rallycross. Now, that's going to be a long Rallycross race on Tuesday night. Sonoma Raceway, the venue, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. A lot to look forward to there. Remember, Tuesday night is non-broadcast, of course. That's just information for our members specifically. On to the Detroit Grand Prix of Belle Isle Circuit following that. For the GSRC Pro 2 trucks, 3 sprint races, 9:20 Eastern Daylight Time. Wednesday night, now, bit of switcheroo musical chairs in the next couple of weeks, so I've been able to jump in tonight and help Matt Schmidt out because Dan Yeaman was unavailable. We know he's unavailable in a couple of weeks' time, so he's here next week, but then I'm here the week after, and then you get Yeaman weeks 8, 9 and 10 through the rest of the campaign. It's poor old Schmidt, it's been a bit of a reality check for him. It's been a lot louder in the central commentary position than he's been used to this season. Tonight, it's just a warm-up for week 7. Now, when the boys do reconvene next Wednesday night, they're off to Detroit, Michigan first up for the TransAm series with thanks to merch.tgsrci.com, and that'll be 45 minutes. That'll be 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time. Then Long Beach, and yeah, more sprint racing. Concrete Canyon, invert, recipe for disaster, recipe for trouble, recipe for that to be a championship-defining round for a couple of contenders, potentially, if they find themselves in the wrong place at the wrong time. 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Hope you can join the boys for that. Merch.tgsrci.com or gsrcmerch.myshopify.com is where you go for all your GSRC merch paraphernalia. They've updated the merch store recently. There's a bit of new paraphernalia in there to get your hands on in time for the festive season. And yes, it's hard to believe that is now just, oh God, can't believe I'm going to say it. It's creeping up all too quickly. It's less than 2 months away. That's it from us. We're done. If you want any more information with regards to the club or how to sign up and get involved, race.tgsrci.com is where you go for all that information. On behalf of Matt Schmidt and all the crew here, I'll echo what he said. Andrew Dyson's having a magnificent run at the moment, and he's come out and proven that whatever he can do in the Toyota 86 on a Monday night, he can back up and follow on with in the TransAm on a Wednesday night. Back-to-back round wins there, and 3 round wins already in the first half of the term in the 86s as well. So he's in a purple patch. And, of course, Sam Blacklock and Lachlan Capel having at it here in what was a cracking scrap in the supercars. And, of course, if Capel decides to appeal that, then fair game, Blacklock will let that go. If not, then Blacklock inherits the win by virtue of that 5-second penalty, and it will be his 3rd straight round win if that is the case. On behalf of the entire crew here, actually, hang on. Sorry, false alarm. I thought I was going to sign off. I did notice, however, when I was running through some information there earlier, Matt Schmidtke, we've got updated championship points. We don't normally get that luxury on a Thursday night because Adam's already knocking out Zeds before we get off air, but we do have championship points to update you on with the TransAm series, folks, not the supercars just yet, but the TransAm we can definitely update you on. Darren Wobb has gone to the top of that points table on 204, 181 for Angus Cook, 172 for Andrew Dyson, 169 for Christopher Hannon, 164 for Adam Lavis. Funds Low and Ray Harner share 6th on 157, 127 for Richard Brookfield. Then Chris Noble, 111, wasn't on the grid tonight, and Joe Baldwin to 96. So there you have it. As I said, Andrew Dyson, those 2 wins back-to-back, 3 race wins, 2 round wins, have put him up in the top 3 in this series. He's definitely in the mix for championship supremacy in the entree slot of the Monday and Thursday night offerings here in Term 4 of 2025 on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. But in the meantime, the supercars, we might come back and update that for you tomorrow, folks, because Adam Lavis is still crunching the numbers there as we say goodbye. We do say goodbye now. We are going to say goodbye, Scott Jordison, and we're going to get out of here before you come and start chewing our oar off to 2 o'clock in the morning as well. Hope you enjoyed it at home. Schmidt, knows what I'm talking about. So does all the other committee and broadcast crew. We're getting out of here. Hope you enjoyed it. Bit anticlimactic. We're waiting for the rain. It never arrived, but the racing was red hot all the same. And Sam Blacklock, Lachlan Capel and Harrison Littles put on a great show. And well done as well to Trevor Azzopardi for the job that he did in the development split there as well. We were hoping to hear from him. We didn't get the chance to do so, but hopefully time will permit for us to catch up with him later in the season. We'll get the Supercar updated championship standings to you tomorrow night, folks. But until then, we say goodnight to you. Night 3 of Week 5 of Turn 4 done and dusted on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Glad that we're able to keep you entertained in the absence of live cricket with that rain. Putting paid to any hope of the first T20 International reaching a natural conclusion in Canberra. On behalf of Matt Schmidt, all the crew here, I'm Zach Coburn. Enjoy what's left of you Wednesday night, folks. A bit more of that on the West Coast than there is on the East Coast. And, of course, over there in New Zealand, it's already Thursday morning. We will see you later tonight and everybody else tomorrow night on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club when we go racing in GT4 and the Porsche Cup. Until then, I'm Zach Coburn. It's bye for now.